on the left and that are woke and all this stuff, they don't want to hear shit you gotta say.
So, what is your message to them? What are you trying to say?
Free
What is
thought,
your
free
conversation?
enterprise, free my message is free thought, free enterprise with black folks. Getting back to some traditional values, building economic empowerment, those kind of things. It is not gonna come under democratic rule or us being so closely affiliated to them because we have seen how their policies have affected us for the past 50 years.
Okay. And so, what policies have the right put in place that has assisted black people in their communities or people? Let's not even put a cut on it. Minorities.
Okay. I can speak to various areas. Like I've reached out to Jasmine Crockett office to ask what her record was on things that I filed for with my nonprofit, which is recidivism and promoting black mental health. She's done nothing. I reached out to John Cohen's office. He sent me several letters and showed me what he was doing. See, the left right now is concerned with identity politics and celebrity, not really fixing the people, not really dealing with issues. We need if you able-bodied and there's nothing wrong with you, we got to cut people off these generation things. It's like constantly being on the nipple and you can't sustain yourself on your own. That's what it's got us to a point that we cannot sustain ourselves on our own because we
But do
so
you also agree that it should be less tax breaks for the rich?
here's the thing.
Because
Yes.
why
In
always mess
certain
with the poor
circumstances,
people programs?
in
When it
certain
comes
circum
time to trim the pork and trim the fat, y'all always go to the poor folk
let me
program.
finish. Let me finish. Those tax breaks are what bring companies to town that employ those poor folks, that employ them people. So those tax
But
breaks
they
are
employing
instead.
them through a temporary service. They ain't
It
getting
don't
no
matter with it.
benefit.
If you did, hey, you don't want you to go work for a
They
temp
ain't getting
service. Do
no
something different.
insurance,
Do
no
something. Then
dental.
don't work for a temp service. That's your choice.
But that's the how do you talking about these companies that bringing the jobs, but all they bringing in is temp jobs.
Okay, if you choose to work a tip job, if you can't do no better than a tip job for whatever reason, that's not the company's
I'm
fault. That's
talking
on
about the
you.
companies that you saying are bringing in jobs.
But understand something, Africa. This business. This business. They got to make a bottom line. And if
Okay,
you
again, I understand that's business and capitalism, but
Mhm.
again, when it also they don't change, they don't answer my question when it comes time to trim the pork
They cut it
and trim the
everywhere.
fat.
They cut
No, you
it. But
don't. You
y'all
don't
watch
cut
the.
no tax breaks for no rich person.
They cut other
They
stuff,
get they
other
get they get all
incentives.
kind of tax breaks in lieu pilots in lieu of taxes. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. Because they paying into the system.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
But where they cut the poor programs, they trying to cut the fat right now. And Democrats cut as much shit as the Republicans. So I
But
don't
the
get to
fat
where
ain't in the POFOS program, baby. The fat is at the top.
okay,
It
it's
ain't at
fat
the bottom.
everywhere. It's fat everywhere. But look, if you look, and I wish I could
But
pull
the
it up on
on the
my phone
bottom
right
is the
now.
only time, only place y'all want to trim the fat.
I'm gonna
Now
find some
that's why I
facts.
don't agree with you. And now I agree that we men shouldn't play women's sports, women shouldn't play men's sports. I agree that they we shouldn't have to be going back and forth about stuff like that. That
Mhm.
should be given. So,
Right.
but we're right there when it comes down to them cuts and cutting programs that benefit poor people. I see them always doing those programs and never doing the cutting anything at the top half.
Hmm.
It's
Okay.
always at the bottom half.
Okay. It may seem that way, but I'm sure if you look into the and I do it for next week, I do my little bit more due diligence on that. I had some facts and
Yeah.
figures, but it's not across the board. Because here's what they do: the Republicans, every administration, they
I
do
mean,
tax cuts for
because
the
like I
rich.
was telling you before, your message, you can have a good message. It's in the delivery, but also in what you have to say. If you can say enough to persuade me to
No, no, no,
think
no.
like you think.
I ain't trying to persuade nobody, Africa. I
No,
don't care
I'm
about
just
persuading.
saying though. I'm just saying you have some good ideas and some good things, some good points, but it gets lost in a lot of other rhetoric about woke and liberal and all
I
that
could,
type of stuff.
I've changed my mess. I ain't done that in a while. But the truth, if the truth hurts, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I ain't
I
talking
mean,
about the truth, bro.
that's just the
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a one person, one black man expressing his opinion, and for some reason, folks don't like that. They, they
They
don't
don't
count
care
on us.
about it because everybody got an opinion.
No, no, no. I'm
Yeah.
saying for some reason though, when you are black and conservative, they come for you.
Well, I think because it sounds one sided, but both sides have negatives. Uh,
Exactly. They both do. I'm not
so
saying be pro conservative, pro Trump. I'm saying just try something different. Expand your if you want to still be a Democrat after you look at the whole landscape, great. Great. But I'm saying at least look on the other side to say you not are you well versed
I
and well
believe they
informed.
should do better to work with each other
They should, but they won't.
across the aisle. That's the
uh,
problem.
Yeah, that's
bipartisan
true.
is
Yeah. But
not.
but when I
The
well see
bickering,
all
the
this
bickering
started,
and
all
going
this
back and forth across the aisle
but all
is
this started,
unnecessary.
all my shit started because I made a call for bipartisanship. And as soon as I did, here come all these woke folks and black liberals. You this, you this, you this, you this. If all my message was saying, hey, let's work with each other to try to get something done. Because I've seen up close how this Republican Democrat stuff is holding up bills, holding up progress. Because my one of my goals in life is to make it where the end user, the person is an addict, the person is mentally ill, got the shortest pipeline between what resources the government can provide in them. And in between there, with you guys, a lot of bickering, a lot of ego, a lot of corruption, and I'm just against it. It's wasting time, and right, and people are
That's
literally
where a lot
dying.
of the money being wasted too.
It ain't about money. It's not about money. Like Justin Pearson talking about money. Y'all don't get it. It's not about the money right now. What's the point of giving black folks $10 billion and we don't know who running it? We ain't got no plan. You don't just throw money at the problem. You reallocate resources. You use what you got first. Then you bring in extra funding. It's just like doing a business plan. You can't just go to a bank and get money. You got to have a plan. What you're gonna use the money for. We don't do none of that.
So what I mean, so right now, what is the right cooking up to assist in these things that you're referring to that the left isn't? What are they putting out there?
I've gotten a lot more support. I've gotten a lot more networking done recently. And I'm working with a lot of Democrats, a lot of people on the left. So I don't want to make it seem like I'm demonizing, I don't want to seem like I'm demonizing the left and deifying the right. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just picking the people that want to collaborate. They want to do something. Because there's some Republicans that don't want to collaborate. But the ones of us that do, we need to work together to get some stuff done.
Yeah. I mean, now there have been some Democrats that have crossed the line, and there have been some Republicans that crossed the line to help certain bills pass or fail.
Exactly.
So so there is an opportunity there for the parties to work together.
But not with
Uh,
the current climate, not with this over emotionalism that the left propagates and has promoted.
well, I
I'm just
mean,
saying.
let,
I
let,
mean, I was
we
at the
would have
protest. I was
to
standing
sit
3 feet.
down.
I
We
was
would have
standing.
to sit down.
Here's what I'm saying. I was 3 feet away at a protest not too long ago with a bunch of young woke liberals, and they acted a damn fool, and they actually got in the way of what we were trying to accomplish that day with their rhetoric, with their behavior. I'm not saying they're not right. I'm not saying, but it's all in how you do it. And a lot of the black people that with their protests were ashamed. They're like, "This not the element we need." And we need to detach ourselves from the white liberal agenda, which Malcolm warned us about in the 60s, which I'm reading a book about it now called Please Stop Helping Us, about how white liberals need to back off as they're doing more harm than good. Not saying I'm believe everything I read, but I'm using it partially and thinking, use some discernment because black folks, we've been taught what to think and not how to think.
They just need to stop helping us because they're making us lazy.
They're making us lazy, they're making it worse, they misrepresent us, they don't understand us. We don't need allies, we need accomplices in this fight, and they ain't cut out for it.
So who is the they? So are we talking
The
about?
white liberals, the one you see at the protest, the one you see acting a damn fool, the one you see calling the police baby rapists and Nazis. When you trying to protest peacefully, those type that I've seen up close.
And again, we have ignorance on all sides. And with the looting and the all and destroying of towns and cities.
Uh-huh.
And then we also have the same thing on the right, where they're calling for again racial divide, racial violence.
How they call it for
Uh,
racial divide? Well, tell me one
The
thing that was said that called
insurrection.
the racial
The
divide. Tell me one thing.
insurrection. The
What
insurrection.
insurrection?
well,
That
Okay.
was some democratic stuff that was set up. I ain't seen nobody break down bottle over Charlie Kirk getting killed, but something happened to a black person. We ride and burn down our own shit. Does that make sense?
well,
Does
I
that
mean,
make sense?
the insurrection. That was mostly the right
They got a
versus
story coming out now where they saying that Biden's office and the Democrats they playing the people there. Let's let that come out before we start saying stuff. I'm gonna let that play out before I comment on that.
Well, I
well,
just know the riding with the Rodney King thing started, and then we do go, and when something happened, that's our chance to go in there and get TVs and shit.
Right, right. Call it what it is, man. Right or right is wrong is wrong. It's not right to and it all comes down to this. And I bring up the Charlie Kirk thing. If you celebrated a man dying, you wrong. I can't fuck with you. That's a moral failing on you. You can't call yourself a Christian and have celebrated. I disregard anything you say. But if you are mature enough and wise enough and got enough God in you to say, I didn't agree with none of them. I might have thought he was a racist, but I'm not gonna celebrate his death. Then you got some hope. But this stuff I saw coming out, no, I'm done with it.
I
I'm
mean, the
done with it.
women celebrated when
Kevin Samuels died. Yeah,
Kevin
that was
Samuels, yeah.
disgraceful. Yeah. Why? Why did they celebrate Kevin Samuels died? Because he said you was fat and
Yeah,
you can't get a man?
the world is more sensitive now. Whereas
Oh, but it's so
whereas
sad.
our
Yeah,
fathers, grandfathers, and I'm gonna say 40% of us don't give a damn.
we
Is
don't.
that you? And we ain't got nothing to do with that. But the majority of the world nowadays, they're sensitive. They think everything you say is geared at them, and they take it personally,
Yeah.
knowing they sister like whatever you talking about, their brothers like whatever you talking about. But they sensitive, so they're gonna hold
yeah.
you to the cross, even though they know it's true.
Right.
Whereas
And
other generations, like I say, what is it? The early millennials. We have Gen X. They don't give a shit. The baby boomers. They don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? That's you. And I had a baby boomer tell me one day we was talking about something, and she said, "Hey, whatever is right between you and your God." You know what I'm saying? They
right,
don't care. But
right.
this new generation, the newer generation, they something different. They sensitive.
Yeah, they real
So,
sensitive.
so I had to go back and try to find information related to the right after Charlie Kirk's death, and then the death threats towards black colleges.
Mhm.
Um, then, of course, the canceling and attacks on freedom of speech and all those good things.
Who attacking freedom of speech? The only people attacking free speech folk kill Charlie Kirk.
Well, let's
Who
see.
attacking free speech?
What
Let's
did
see.
blacks have to do with it? Blacks didn't have
You're
nothing to do with Charlie Kirk.
a person of,
But
That
I,
was white on white crime.
FCC
huh?
when he put his statement out, and they were
Uh-huh.
forcing Jimmy Kimmel to move on around. Your
Uh-huh.
president, I mean, he's out there making personal statements against
Uh-huh.
those persons, um, those journalists and nightlife or
Nothing wrong with it.
personalities.
Freedom of speech don't mean freedom from somebody getting on your ass. Don't mean you can't lose your job. Don't mean that. It don't mean you should
But
die.
he's trying to call for a number of persons' jobs to be canceled
Good.
because
That you that
but
can
they didn't
happen.
say anything about your boy.
It don't matter what they say.
That
It don't
wasn't
matter
even
if
touched
you
on your
on a
boy.
job. If I'm on a job and I say something on my personal page and it offends my employer, I, I'm not. I'm just. That's not protected. That's not protected under free speech. That's not what that means. Your protection.
That
Your
wasn't business though. That wasn't a business decision to
it don't matter.
cancel
You not the
him.
only thing. The only thing free speech protects you from is imprisonment and death. Other than that, it's open season. If I go and say something stupid and somebody knock the hell out of me, I can't say they infringing my free speech.
If there wasn't governmental involvement with Jimmy Kimmel being canceled, then he probably wouldn't have been canceled.
Wait,
His
what part of
employer
it?
His
Yeah.
employer had nothing. They didn't have anything to say based on his comments.
Well, let's break it down. His show, ABC and ESPN, are owned by Disney, which is a leftist company. Of course, they're gonna bring him back, just like they putting Bad Bunny
How's it a
as a Super
leftist
Bowl.
company,
They
but
in collusion with the
they
NFL,
put
huh?
$16 million in Trump's pocket and to his campaign?
Who cares? That on point.
But
The point is,
you're saying it's a leftist company. So that
but
seems
here's
right
the
to me
thing.
that they're putting
Just
$16
because, okay,
million.
if people think that Democrats don't donate to Republican organizations and vice versa, as it suits their interests, you fooling yourself. Of course, they're gonna have an element of their company that's gonna donate to the right because that's just the makeup of the country. But people pick and choose what they want to bring up. Like they didn't bring up how I ain't a big Trump fan. A lot of stuff he do I don't like. But they don't bring up in the 80s when he gave Al Sharpton 2 floors of premier business space to start his organization for free. They don't bring that up. They don't bring up all the money he's giving to the Democratic Party. Pick and choose. Just like folks do that, just like
Because
they do the
actually,
Bible.
is a clip of him saying that he was pro-Democrat, but he was going to run Republican.
Right, exactly. That's political strategy. They do it all the time. And people so naive about the way the system works, and they don't understand basic civics. That's like trying to coach a football team and you ain't never played. You ain't never read a playbook. That's all I'm saying is inform yourself. Read something different. Give yourself another point of view. I'm not trying to change people's mind at all. I'm just saying what I feel, and I'm just presenting information. And black folks so scared of knowledge,
They woke, man.
man, they sleep as hell. They the
They
ones dreaming.
don't need no more knowledge. We got Anthony in the building. Anthony, what's happening with you?
It's all good. It's all good. I just want to do a little PSA before we start, before I hop in. Do anybody have their, y'all girlfriends, y'all wives, y'all sisters, anybody y'all need to get on here to have y'all back before the queen starts for today's topic?
I ain't
Oh
No.
Anybody
my.
anybody need to
not back. What
Oh
throw
about
in
you,
some
my.
bro?
backup, they
Oh
wives, they
my.
girlfriends, they sister, they cousin, anybody before the queen starts?
Oh
No,
my.
ma'am. No,
Okay, I
ma'am.
just wanted to make
The
sure.
Queen,
Okay, perfect.
Aretha Franklin, dead.
No, ma'am. Hey, we got
Hey,
her.
Hey,
Hey, she
look,
got it.
work her get.
I just want to make sure,
Yeah.
y'all
How
might
you
need
gonna be
backup.
promiscuous
I
to
just
a
want
queen?
I just want to make sure y'all don't need backup later on. Don't sneak the backup in later. Let's go ahead and have a backup on the line right now.
Oh man.
Oh
I don't
man.
know who the
Wow.
They,
baby is.
oh, the
Yeah, the way
shade.
Go.
it
Let's
works
go.
Oh,
is
Let-
people hear stuff. The way this podcast works, people hear stuff they want to comment on. They chime in. So
oh,
yeah.
shade at
Let-
nighttime. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Let's talk about
What's
it. The
up,
negative.
girl?
The
How you
negative.
doing?
Huh? Oh.
I'm just saying, what's up? How you doing?
Good.
You talking to me, AJ?
Yeah, girl.
Oh, I'm good. How are you, AJ? My partner in crime. How are you?
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
yeah. We're gonna podcast 2K25. We got AJ in the building, of course. The first lady. We have Anthony in the building. We got Austin. We have the controversial George, and
Why
then
I
I'm
gotta
the
get?
host, DJ
No,
Black.
the conservative. Just call him conservative, though. No,
Conservative
no,
George.
we
I
ain't
like
gonna
it.
call
Yeah.
Instead of
him.
curious
Yeah,
George, you conservative George. Okay.
That'll work. That'll work.
Yeah, that's better. You probably need to change it on the
conservative.
thing
Bro.
to conservative George. So, but
Yeah, I might.
that's a good thing.
Yeah.
They just not used to seeing it. It's a little different. But
Yeah. Yeah.
fatherless homes. That is what our topic is about tonight. We're gonna speak on the effects of it. You know what I'm saying? The negative effect. Um, but it's more of us that grew up in of our people that grew up in single parenting than you know with the father in the home. So, um, what are the effects? You know what
I
I'm saying?
think, I think, I think. I would just thought of something different. I think, and of course, we're gonna get to the negative effects on the kids, but I think it's a negative effect on the mother, not having a partner, not having that stability, not having that support. And
It is.
I think that's something we
Oh,
don't think
sorry.
about. We don't.
I like your new look because I was thinking about that earlier today.
Uh-huh.
That I was going to suggest that because I threw it at you about 2 weeks ago
Yeah, you did.
and you did it. But I was thinking because I hadn't seen you and I was thinking about that earlier today. But good look and it fits your the character that you're bringing out now that you're showing us. So
Yeah, I did it on purpose.
keep
What, the
it
murder
going.
one?
Keep it going.
Oh yeah, yeah, the murder
You
one.
look like a Nazi. Oh hell, Hitler.
Man, you look like Friar Tuck. Keep it going.
Yeah. No,
That's all.
hey, George, did you ever get that dude's name
Which dude?
that I sent you that looked like you?
Yeah, I saw that video. I'm gonna look at some more of his stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at
I
some
want
more
to
of his stuff.
see it. Send it to me. George
Dude,
got a
he looks
twin.
just like man. Look, especially now they go for brothers, and I bet if he inbox him, you guys can get some things going. I bet you.
Hey, I
Oh
got I
wow.
got people. I ain't gonna lie. I got people every day, all day. Hey, I seen your posts. I follow your posts now. I want to work with you on this. Let's do that. I want you to speak here. So
And see,
I
I
mean,
get that because you wasn't getting that type of traction from the other side.
show
And
what?
or better yet, people that were saying one thing and doing another,
Yeah, yeah. I was getting a
And, and
lot of that.
so and so I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we,
get it.
some of a lot of us get it more than others. But okay, you said you was gonna speak on the. You say you think it hinders the mother.
I think it does. I think that what we need to try to do in this country is get to a point of healing work because while it's easy for us to be critical of single mothers, listen and single fathers too, but we got to think about that woman support, her stability, her point of view. Yes, she may have made some bad decisions that got her in this situation, but it's a negative effect on the mother. So while we think about the child, you always have to think about the mother, especially she's the primary caregiver.
Right.
Yeah, because an unhappy mother will have an unhappy child.
Right. Yeah.
You got to consider the mother's mental health.
Right. And one thing I want to do, like with my nonprofit, I designed a course for fathers. I want to at some point do one for mothers to address their mental health and single parenthood, things like coping skills and things like that. Because what I see, you got a lot of women that are overburdened. They're
Just
overburdened. They stressed in.
overwhelmed.
They overwhelmed. And
And we got this checklist that we're trying to check off all day,
right now
and we forget.
we should endeavor to do everything we can to stem the tide of single motherhood because I don't think it's good. I don't think
Yeah,
it's
like
healthy.
wait
I
for
don't think it's
marriage.
optimal. But what we can do in the meantime, while we work on reducing that statistic, we need to do things to fortify what we got and the people we got in place to make sure they will.
Okay. Now, what can the mother do to help bring down baby mamaism, single baby
Be,
mamaism?
well, it's the same thing the fathers do. Be more particular, be more careful, be more prudent in who you open your body up to. Don't look as a child as another thing you can claim on your taxes. Have some reverence about your body and about relationships. That's what we can both do. It's not just on the mama. It takes two. I think
I
sometimes,
thought we got that clear last
yeah,
week. It takes
I, I, I,
two
th- I think a
people.
lot of times we say single mothers, and we ostracize and stigmatize a lot of them, but we don't look at these men too, because we all know men that single out here not doing nothing, got 5 6 kids by 8 different
Right.
women.
But guess what?
So
We get it. And just like we said last week,
right,
somebody got to get that man permission to get that cat to
it's not
create
it's
the
not
cat.
about. But here's the thing: instead of worry about permission, why don't just both of y'all keep y'all legs closed?
That's easier said than done.
Oh well, I tell you what, if a man ain't got no more
So
discipline than
how
that,
you
then they
expect it to be easy for one and not so easy for the other? Because if it's not easy for a man to do, you should think we got urges as women. It may not be easy for us to do
Okay.
either, but it's for both of us to try to do
Yeah,
something,
it's for
right?
both. But at the end of the day,
Mhm.
if I know if I go in there and rob Walmart or I run in there and rob a bank, I know that there's consequences. Uh, I'm gonna protect myself, me personally. This just me, not nobody else. If I know if uh going to war, there are chances if I join the military and get in the army and I get on that front line as a foot soldier, I know that there are chances that I'll get unalived a lot quicker than a person that's a dentist or working in the kitchen. So if I don't want that, I'm gonna take preventive measures myself to make sure I don't put myself in that predicament.
Okay, I
But
got you.
that's just
But
me.
What I
That's just
get
me.
is you want us to stop giving y'all permission to have sex with us.
Right. Make it
because
hard.
men, because evidently
Make
men
it
can't
hard.
control.
'Cause-
Evidently men can't control themselves and got to have a woman tell them everything to do. You can't control your own dick and decide you're not gonna have sex with
Right.
her.
And when you know men are doing that and you guys and the women are the ones stuck with the baby, if I don't want no baby, no burden, no baby, I'm not gonna do it. But that's just me. You know what I'm saying? So don't, I mean, I like people to have an open mind. It's not it's the men need to, it's kind of like,
What if she do want a baby though? What if
no,
she
no, that's
decide,
different.
okay,
That's
I'm
different.
pregnant now,
That's
I want
different.
the
If
baby.
if they want, if it's Planned Parenthood, we're talking about Planned Parenthood. That's fine. I'm saying the women out here that's not planning the parenthood that
So
since
like
I
Glow
got
say, if he
pregnant.
don't want the baby, don't keep.
If the what?
Like Glow Riddle say, if he don't want the baby, don't keep.
Right. A man should have some type of say so, but they don't. So it's just that I'm just saying.
But the man got to say so when he hit it. That's your say so as a man right
And when
there.
he busts up to shoot up the club,
Yeah,
That's your
and
say so.
In my
you can't
experience in
shoot up the
deja
club and
vu,
not expect casualty. You can't shoot the club up and not expect any casualties.
you're right. You're right.
Men just had to be more accountable and responsible too. And it seemed like we as men,
Mhm.
a lot of us nowadays, and a lot of it is because we raised by single mothers, we
Is
not
it
accountable.
easier to just blame the woman though? I mean, so why
No,
is it so
it's
easy
not
to
blaming. It's
blame?
not blaming the woman. The only thing that I'm saying is, if I know,
Let me mute my
if
mic.
I go and steal something out the store, that there's a chance that I'm going to get a record on my background, and it may hinder me for trying to get a job I'm trying to get, and I'm considering that as a downfall. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah, don't get her pregnant.
Just like
that
when I
sounds
was
like
in
one of the
school,
negative effects of a father's home, is what that sounds like.
right?
Yeah.
And just like if when I was in school, I didn't want kids because my parents and family was totally against any of us having kids while we were in school. So I
Mhm.
stayed strapped, you know, and that's just a measure that I took to make sure I didn't create any kids while
But
in
when I
school.
made that point, someone said, "But what man thinks like that?
Things
Very
like what?
few, very
What
few.
man?
And I
What
always
man
say
thinks like
and I
that?"
always say I'm very rare. I've been saying this since the beginning. I don't think like other people. Things that happen to other people don't happen to me.
I tell you this though. I
I've
tell
been
you this
blessed
though.
like that.
One thing you brought up, D, I can tell you this: for me being in the dating world the past 2.5 years, there are a lot of women that would the and you ain't got to know them but a month. If they like you, they like, I want to have a baby with you.
Yeah.
They will like you can bust the club. I mean, I ain't gonna lie, I run into several women that I've talked to in about a month in. They like, oh, when you come, like, yeah, I want a baby with you. And I'm
You know how
like,
many times I heard that?
yeah.
And I
Dude,
still, no, sir.
They
No, sir.
go. I mean, that does happen a lot, though. It really does. So, I mean, that's why that's why as a man you have to be even more accountable,
Yeah, you have to be
especially if you know.
disciplined, of
Yeah.
course.
So, I mean, it's more to me. It's more so on the man than the woman because the man got the one got to complete the act. We the one got to shoot off, not her. If we don't put the key in the door, it ain't gonna get
Well, the
unlocked.
only thing, no, the
You know,
thing
just
that I'm
saying
saying,
she can say come
it's a
on and
double
shoot the
thing.
club up.
It's a
But why
double
would you
thing.
do it if you don't want no baby?
It's a double thing, but at the end of the day, that woman, 9 times out of
Yeah.
10,
See,
85% of the time is gonna be the custodial parent that's stuck with that
that
child.
ain't
And
got
I
that
know.
ain't got that
But
ain't got
you
nothing to
said
do.
a
That
Yes,
ain't
it
got
do.
woman
nothing
The
to
that
do.
reason
shoot
that it does is because I know several women that's not mothers. They mad. They curse the kid out. They hit the 2-year-old. They like, you need to shut up, and they throw. They didn't want to be mothers. Every woman who have a child is not mother material, but they don't protect themselves enough. So I'm speaking from that aspect. So if
I
you
get
know
what you're
you don't
saying.
want children, do more to not have children
Protect
Check
yourself.
it.
to
People, this
prevent it.
you know how I just told you how women have been coming at me about the baby thing. That's happened probably about 4 or 5 times in
They
the
want
past
it.
too.
They
Understand?
want it.
Hold on. You know why I don't have any kids other than my 2 sons that were not born out of wedlock that I raised because I didn't go ahead and do that. It's
Right.
not on the woman.
But like
That's
you
on
say,
me as a
what
man.
men do that?
Well, if you're not
Responsible
man
women.
enough to do
A
that,
man
but
that's
see,
been raised right.
hey,
Responsible women.
if you just a fallen man and you can't control your urges no more than that, that's on you.
A
Right.
man that's been raised right. I do that.
Right.
But ain't none of us raised right.
No, it's
Yeah.
a lot of us are raised right. A lot of us do what we want though. So,
But it come down to partly to what are your morals.
yeah.
What are your morals? A lot of people now, especially now, they getting back into traditional values. They believe in a mother and a father and both being in the home. A lot of people getting back on this. So I think you're gonna see a lot of stuff change. And the society's changed so much, and the
I
definition of
mean,
family is so fluid. You
I
know,
mean, especially a lot of times the women are getting older now, and
right?
But
they
we don't deny that we need our black men. We don't deny that. We need our fathers. We need our men. We need them in with us and raising these children with us. We need that. We not deny. We ain't no woman alive with a child gonna tell you she don't need no help. And if
I've
she
heard
do tell
some.
you, she
She
yeah,
lying.
lying.
she'll
She
say she don't
Right,
lying.
need a man.
She lying
right. They lie.
because she got to do it all.
Yeah. But here's
You
the thing:
understand me?
and we got to
And at
think
one
about this.
point, and at some point in time, when you got to do it all, you be like, "Damn, I wish I had some motherfucking help."
Yeah.
And then she go and get with the
And then
next little
no, and then you
JoJo.
just keep on doing it all because you got to do it all
But what I don't understand, if you got one kid and you catch a head, why you having 2 and 3 more?
Thank you. And if
because
you
you know
are
what?
doing that, and if
Or
Because
you
for
try to say,
men, or for
God,
men,
here's the thing about
or for
struggling.
men, why you having a kid and you not taking care of that one, would you go get another woman pregnant? And you're not in the
Exactly.
household with that one.
But here's
Exactly.
exactly.
the thing.
Exactly.
Here's
He don't
another
get out
thing
the hook.
about struggling, baby. Here's
Yeah, the
another thing
man
about
don't get out the
struggling.
hook, but that
It's
woman gonna
you
struggle
gonna
a
have.
little
It's
bit
just
more than
like
that
with
man.
gas. People be like, I don't want to go here and there. You gonna have to buy gas regardless.
Right.
Yeah, the
So
woman
if
gonna
you if
struggle a
I,
little bit more than that
you
man
know
because she's obligated. He not.
Nah, I ain't gonna say that because I'm a father and I'm
because
obligated.
that's
I
fucked
don't
up
feel
though.
No, no,
I
That's
no. We ain't
creating
talking about
Because
that's
that's
the
a crazy
negative
thing
we ain't
for a
talking
effect
about
of a
father
the
to say
responsible
that
fatherless
the
parent.
woman is
We
home.
ain't talking about the
obligated and the man
responsible
ain't.
father. Think about
That's
the
one of
women
the
you know.
negative effects of a fatherless home.
Right, George. Think
see.
That's
about
a
the
fucked
women you
up
know
negative
that you
effect.
Uh-huh.
close friends with that
Uh-huh.
has a child, 2 or 3, and the daddies ain't shit. Ain't in their lives. He don't. He doing things. They barely get child support because he ain't really
And
got
you
no
know whose fault that
job.
is? You know whose fault that is?
That
That
man.
that's the man fault for being stupid, and it's the woman fault for being stupid because she knew he wasn't shit when
Because
she
you
got
know,
laid
let me
down with
tell
him.
you something about a man. He
Right.
have a he can play a whole game with you and play
Mhm.
right in your fucking face.
Right.
And then, or better yet, when you decide you don't want him no more, he don't want the baby no more.
Because that
Oh
has been a
yeah.
So,
lot of
so what you
cases.
saying? So
There's
what you
been a
saying?
lot of cases where men is like, if I can't have you, I'd rather not be a part of any of it.
Yeah.
So
It's a
what
lot
you?
of women like it's a
So
lot of
what you
women like
saying?
if
We
you
talking
not
about the fatherless
right.
homes.
So
Right.
what you saying is the woman is stupid. Is that what you're saying, AJ? Because
What I'm saying
she's
is,
listening
no,
and following.
a nigga put on his representative and had you thinking he one way when he really another way until you
And
figure out, and then after the motherfucking baby, bam, you figure out that this nigga ain't who he
well,
thought you
that
thought he was,
and that's the
or who
reason
he
that both
portrayed
parties.
himself to be.
That's the reason that both parties should protect themselves from allowing a kid to come into a relationship until you identify exactly who you're dealing with. And that may take more than the 3 months that y'all been living together after the 2 dates that y'all done had.
Who
Mhm.
does that?
I do.
I
I'm
ain't
gonna
moving
wait.
in with you out 3 months, baby.
Oh no,
Oh
I thought you
no,
talking about
well, I'm
something else.
not
My
moving
fault.
in
I
out three
thought you talking about
months.
something else, AJ. My fault.
There are a number of people that do that after 90 days, they moving in together. And a
I've
lot
seen
of
people
it
do it in
could
2 weeks.
a lot of it
Okay,
could be due to
well, okay,
financial.
I get it.
Yeah.
Some people
But
it
let,
take all kind of people to make the world go round.
right. But let's talk about the kids though, because I think that one thing that we have now we're seeing the effect of is that by kids being raised in single parent households, and not just single mothers, but single fathers and grandparents as well, is that they not able to foster a sense of community. And that's what's hurting our communities. Because if you don't have sense of community and unity at home and stability at home, when you walk out your door, what you think you're gonna bring out into the world, into the neighborhood? So that's why I'm such a strong proponent of us solidifying our homes, getting our family structures right, dealing with our mental health, so then they can bleed out in the communities and improve us as a whole.
I think
Because
that's
right
why
now,
kids join gangs for that
right,
sense
that's
of
why.
community,
And
that
here's
sense
the
of
thing.
family.
Here's the thing. It doesn't have to take a father being in the home, but it does take a man to be
Being
in a child's
adjacent.
life.
But
Yeah.
yeah,
So
exactly, exactly,
because
A
exactly.
you can
positive
have
role model.
yeah, you can have a father in the home, but if it's not a positive relationship, if it's a toxic
Yeah,
toxic relationship,
daddies
then
can
it's
be
going
in the
to
house and
produce
still not
toxicity.
there.
Yeah,
You got men that are sitting, they don't they when they come home from work, they ain't studying nothing about nothing going on in the house. They don't know nothing that's going on in the house.
right,
And so,
But they there every
yeah,
day.
they're there every day, and they're not doing it. They're not contributing. They're not being intentional parents. Is what
right,
they're not doing.
right,
Intentional parents or an intentional partner in raising that child.
right.
So and that is on that man. Um,
So do we blame the mama for that?
We blame both. I think it's a
She
50-50
picked it.
situation.
She picked him. Who knew that once they after they got married and they say they've been married 5 years, they started having kids. Who knew once they started having kids, he was gonna be that type of father?
But women do the same thing, Africa. I've been fooled so many times. It's just that's why I say it's 50-50. I think their responsibility goes both ways to start bringing children in the world. I don't think it's any more on one than the other.
yeah.
I think men need to be men and take accountability for their virtue and their bodies and their morals, and women need to
And
do the
women
same.
need to take accountability for who we let shoot up the club.
Right.
I
And dudes
agree
need
with
to take
you on that.
accountability for who club they shoot up.
Yeah. And
Right.
so
We can
so
agree on that.
there's marriage counseling. Once you start getting into a serious relationship, maybe you should start having some relationship counseling.
But
And
you
then
know the
maybe
thing,
some of those things can start coming out in those conversations with a person that's able to uh, help you identify some red flags or some markers
right.
that you're not able to see because of your love bias.
And also I'm
I
glad you
think
bring
we
it up.
don't ask.
I don't want to step on your toe, but I'm glad you brought that up because that brings up to my point about mental illness. A lot of us black people are we still have such a strong stigma. We still have that feeling toward therapy. And a lot of people that really need the help are resistant toward getting it. It's not always the person that realize the virtue of therapy that does it. It's the person that say, I don't need it. So those are people we got to try to reach and try to, hey, say, hey, you need to talk to somebody, you need to work your stuff out because you're killing your kid, you're hurting your kid.
But what can
I
we
think
do? Go ahead.
I think we need to work on asking more deeper level questions. Most of the time we just do surface.
Right.
Real surface.
I mean,
And we don't ask those deep questions.
my thing is this here with that. Just like when y'all was saying about the body counts, people can tell you anything. You have to go off people's actions. You have to look at their past. Uh,
Right.
Yeah, it's
like
their
when I met
words and
when
their
I met
actions
mine,
alive
her
though.
main concern was why was I single? Um, why did I break up with the last one? What was the issue? She wanted to know those type of things. But on the same note, anybody can tell you anything. So you can pretty much look at a person, study them, and kind of tell what you're dealing with.
Right.
And though it looks good, but I know she's at the club all types of night. I know she like to get drunk and high. I know a few guys she can mess with and have one night stands. I know that she's been in a relationship with this guy, but still going back to that guy. And if I know these things from watching her behavior, I have to look at those signs and make an intelligent choice on if that's what I want to be involved with. You know what I'm saying? And what comes with it. Oh, I didn't
And,
change.
Right.
You know,
And in terms of the effect of the children, I mean, we all know the anecdotal and statistical data in terms of, children raised in single parent households are more likely to be incarcerated or more likely to have more of the have less advantages due to their situation. So that's why, you know, like I said, I want to be solutions oriented. And I don't want to just come up here and come out against single mothers, but we need to try to stop it. It's not is not good because we got to look at these are some ways that can affect the child. Simple things. Let's suppose the father's involved, but he's not in the household for whatever reason, whether it be divorce or whatever. It creates a chasm in terms of how the father can relate to their child sometimes because I noticed when had certain points in life, just the perception, that child feeling like they have to choose. That child being in a position where it's like, how can I put this? Where the mother is given such preferential treatment that the father's position is not recognized, and that causes issue with the child as far as perception, as far as gender roles, not having their father in the household, and not having their father's influence. It can derange and deform that child's core sense. I've seen it happen. That's why you
but
got a
the
lot of
mother,
us
they
men
say
now. A
mothers
lot of
can
us men,
raise a man just as well.
bullshit. You can raise a man, but you ain't gonna raise him well if he had a good father there. There's gonna be something lacking. I mean, that was out. I'll tell you an example. I was out, and this gonna piss people off. I don't care. I was doing a mentor thing at a school, and I was talking to the kids about single motherhood, how this not optimal. Okay, so when the teachers came up to me, and he was obviously homosexual, very feminine, and he said, "Well, my mother raised me," and I said, "Exactly my point.
That was wrong.
I don't care if
I
it's
get what
wrong."
you're saying.
And
That
weird
was
to
wrong.
say.
That was hella wrong. And
No,
and,
he
and
no
I
he
have a
had he
sharp
had he
tongue.
had
I
no no
have a
no no no
sharp ass
because the
tongue, but
way
I
the
don't
way
think I
hold
would have
on
said it back.
hold on no that wasn't wrong because the way he came at me and what I said, he had that response coming.
Let's get the full context. So are you saying you could say he was raised by a single mom because he's gay?
No. It was his demeanor toward the kids. He was very permissive toward the kids. He wasn't strong with the kids. He could not control the kids. There was no
And
backbone to him. He was
if
not
he was raised
ill-equipped.
by a man, he'd have been able to handle the kids?
I can't say that, but the
No,
chances
he
might have been
didn't
better.
say that,
It's
but it would
not
have been
just
a
it's
better
not
thing.
it's not just having a man
I would have
around.
kept this story to myself.
Well,
It
I'm sorry, but like I said, a lot of stuff I say, I ain't saying
would have been a better chance.
Hey,
that
George,
would
you
have been a better chance.
keep doing your R. Kelly thing. Just piss on him. Just piss on him.
I shit
So,
on him. Fuck him.
but, but
But let's see. This is because there are fatherless homes, and it has risen and it is rising. But like George said, we are in hopes that there have been more women lately trying to do the marriage thing because they're realizing that being outside and the sexual culture is not really what it was boiled up to be, what it was claiming to be. But what statistics on the fatherless homes? Hold on a minute. Men not being in the home.
So do you think the fact that 70% of black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture. What I mentioned
So
earlier.
let
That's because of the
respectfully
culture that's
allow me to interject.
I meant to say, let's see what Charlie said.
So do you think the fact that 70% of black youth don't have a dad around is probably pretty important?
That's because of the culture. What I mentioned
So
earlier.
let
That's because of the
respectfully
culture that's
allow me to interject. How does the white culture impact the fact whether or not a black dad stays around when he impregnates a
I'm not
woman?
saying it's the white culture.
What is it?
The culture that has been perpetuated through the 200 years of slavery, the 100 years of segregation, and Jim Crow laws.
The marriage, so I got to interject again. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt too much. But in 1960, before the Civil Rights Act, 20% of black youth had a dad around. Now it's, 20% were single fathers, 80% had a dad around. It's been inverted. So we actually have seen black dads run away from their kids the last 60 years. Why is that?
Because of the raised incarceration rates, because of the perpetuated culture.
So how does one go to jail?
That's obvious. I'm not answering that question.
Yeah, so maybe it's because they committed crimes.
Okay.
So we can agree on this. Do you mean internal black culture?
It's not. It's deeper than that. Like,
do you think, let's take time out. Do you think the average rap artist that a black kid in the hood is listening to is glorifying marriage and family and saving your money?
That's what sells because it's a culture thing. It's just within the black community.
I agree. No, but hold on.
Everyone listens to it. It's not just isolated.
It's bad for everyone who listens to it. The point being is that black youth, as they are being raised, their role models are largely not glorifying staying with one woman, getting married, going to church. And if you're wrong, show me the black role models that are doing that. There might be a couple I could think of, maybe. But if it's about culture, you're right. The internal black culture has collapsed the last 60 years. We're no longer elevating the family. We're no longer elevating staying with the person that you're with. So our contention here as conservatives is that the systemic racism stuff is a bunch of rubbish. Instead, it's systemic bad choices.
%, right. 100% right.
So it boils down to what everybody was saying on the panel. It's our choices.
Right.
And, growing up, we was always saying, and even in the movies, they make a joke about the man, saying the white man, the man. At what point do we get away from saying the white man or the man and start taking accountability of our shortcomings?
Because we from the left, we have people that want to keep racism going, so they keep stoking up. Jim Crow ain't got nothing to do with why you got 5 girls pregnant. Racism ain't got nothing to do with that. So every issue that black people, that some of us have, and I ain't gonna say all of us, but some of us, we want to pull racism out of our ass. At some point you got to get over it. Not saying it doesn't exist, but if you're not taking personal accountability and doing things first, you can't fight racism. You can't fight those institutions that have been put in place. You're not ready yet.
Well, I'm not going to say the left is perpetuating racism. I think it could be on both sides, but that's not the topic. So I'll leave that alone. But again, I don't agree with the systematic, the system being the issue with having 10, 20, 30 kids out there as a father, and you're not doing anything for them. Now, I do agree with the young guy that said it's the culture that is manipulating these kids and young people's minds, which is allowing, helping them to think it's okay.
Right.
So you have to, and a lot of people that are weak-minded individuals can't differentiate reality from an act or acting or portraying a role. So they think these things are life, and they go out and do these things, trying to emulate what they've heard or what they've seen, and it just continues to perpetuate baby mamas.
Right.
So, and then also baby mamas are being glorified, and they fall into this stereotypical role of house shoes and bonnets, right? In public. They're falling into this, rolling the eyes and all those things. They fall into those stereotypes again because they did fall for someone's story, or someone deceived them and ended up getting them pregnant and causing a voided household, a male voided household. I call it that, a male voided household. And then so there is a struggle that goes on, and not only a financial struggle, but an emotional struggle for that child, because they don't have an identity of what that other parent is or who that other parent is. So they can't truly identify who they are, which again creates an adult that does not have a direction that they can go into, because they can't identify what it is they came from, that other part of them, and to understand and or to complete their identity of who they are and their background, and because that backstory could help your future, if that makes sense. If
Right.
you have both pieces to that puzzle of what each parent went through, how they grew up, what made them unique as a person, and then you can identify what makes you unique based on these traits that you have, that you're able to pull from.
Right. And another detriment to the child too is that they don't get a chance to see any kind of. That's why so many of our young people don't know how to conduct themselves in relationships because they haven't seen one. They may have seen the mother by themselves or the parents not together, so they don't get a foundation of having a mother and father and seeing what their relationship is really like. So that's another thing too, and I think this what leads to a lot of the breakdown in our communities is that you can't expect people that are unhealed to go into and have healthy relationships when they weren't raised in one. And that's my thing about a lot of times with women trying to define masculinity. Well, a lot of women trying to define masculinity weren't raised with a father in the home. So you can't necessarily trust their judgment, just like a lot of men have been around dysfunctional women, so they have a problem, distinguishing what womanhood is. But I think if we can return ourselves to more traditional values and get some things back on track, that'll help and they'll provide some stability.
Back to Charlie Kirk in the video that we just listened to, I do believe that Charlie Kirk does have some points in this world that some people can hear and understand and things of that nature. When it comes to black household and black men and things like that, I don't see black people commenting or telling white men what they should be doing in their homes and things of that nature and how y'all could change y'all community and y'all culture, because history definitely does repeat itself. No, we are not dealing with Jim Crow, but the black men and black women are the most disrespected in all of the races there is as of today. The most disrespected, the most downgraded, from the women, the black women in the bonnets and their house shoes, to black men being beaten and killed by police officers for just running, blinking, anything, being stopped while black is coming a dangerous thing. Black men do have a target on their back when it comes from other races.
Let me ask you this.
I don't think so.
Demasculating black men has always
Um,
been a thing.
Let
but
me.
nobody emasculates black men more than black women these days. Nobody. Period.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go deeper than that. Um, it's the image that's
Right.
painted, whether it's through social media, whether it's through film. They paint us out to be that. Just like when you see a skinhead, like George had his hair, got his hair cut, and the first thing AJ said, he looks like a Nazi. So if you see a big black nigga, and in the movies, the big black is known for doing this. So if you see a guy in a hoodie, or you see a guy at the corner store in raggedy clothes coming up begging for money, um, when you see that and it's a stereotype. You've seen different things go down, so you get kind of labeled. And a lot of things with us as people, we portray an image, and then we want people to treat us like we're kings. If I'm walking around with a do rag on and my pants sagging, and and I smell like weed, if a person see me and think that I'm hood, that's what's been painted. And so not I'm not speaking on the police brutality. I'm just talking about us as an image. We have to carry ourselves better. If I see Shanae, you know what I'm saying? Like Martin portrays Shanae. So when I see the woman up there with the eyelashes that touches her eyebrows, and the rhinestones or whatever on her nails, and they yellow, pink, and green, and she talking loud with orange hair. That's what I see. And to me, she's ghetto, she's hood, and she's not nothing I want to be affiliated with. that's just me. And if I see it like that, imagine how our counterparts see it, the YTs. So
Right.
if we want to be viewed better, I think us as a people need to do better.
There
That's
you
just
go.
me.
There you go.
So I understand when they look at us a certain way because we do act a fool. We do look at Tupac and want to walk around with our pants sagging and do our thing. We do that. That's what we do. So
So
we
with
can't
that,
say, oh, they just down in the black people. They look at us all
so
kind of way. How do you carry yourself? Austin and I can walk up.
so with
Our
that
friends
said,
are white.
I wasn't saying that. What
so
I
with
was
that
saying was,
said,
as a white man, you can't speak on black fatherhood because that's something you've never experienced and know nothing
Okay,
about.
and the
well,
only reason
wait,
that he can is because Obama said the same thing, and the statistics are there. So he was asking the guy, real
well,
nigga shit,
statistics can always be
real
skewed.
nigga shit,
So
real nigga.
so
I mean,
so
even
so with
with
that
but it's
said, so
with
with 50%,
Obama said the same thing.
of white, with 50% of the serial killers being white males, then we should walk around and look at every white male and feel like he could probably be a serial killer.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah.
a possibility. And
Yeah.
on the same note, what our
No,
people need to stop doing, and let's all get on an intelligence level since everybody's so smart on here. We
I
need to
am.
stop. If the topic is, if we're talking about black women, we can't say, well, what about the white woman? She doing it. We
Yeah,
ain't talking about the white
that's
woman.
teenage.
We
That's the
definitely
that's
can
We're gonna
because you
talk
put a
about
white
white
no,
man.
you
women.
We
If
can't.
definitely
we
You
can
talk,
can't.
if we
because you
That's
put
talking
a
about black
you put
men,
a
yeah.
if
white
we
That's
talking
not
man's
about
true.
video
black
on
men need
here.
to be
When
held more
when you
You
accountable.
talked about you
but
put a white man's video on here. So
but here's the thing. But
whoever
see,
jumps into the ring, you getting hit.
but he
You
was
put that
asked.
white
It
man
don't.
out there to
No,
making
no,
a
no.
point
But
about
he
Only
black
was
reason the
people.
white
asked.
man
So
video
now
was in
we
there is
finna talk
because of
about
what
a
he
white
was
man and
saying.
their culture.
Well, here's the thing. We can do it.
Because
But see, here's
he
the
was
thing.
debating a
Yeah.
black guy, right or wrong.
We should have found black debaters black debating black people. That's what
No,
we
Why?
no,
should have put
no,
up here.
no, no,
Why? That's
no.
what's wrong with us
Why?
now.
I mean, it was
All
a
right,
black
So
so
guy
guess
stepped
what?
up there
Guess
for
what,
a
George?
debate.
y'all
I'm
can't
going to
argue
I
talk
both
got
about a
sides
that
of the
white
too.
coin.
person. If
Y'all
you
can't
put
I
a
argue
have
white
both
that
person
sides
too.
of the
opinion,
coin.
if you put a
Why is
white
it the
person on here with their
deliverer?
opinion
You're
about a black
sounding
person, I'm
Hold
going
on,
to
I
racist
talk
can't.
right
about a
I
white
can't
now.
hear
person. I'm
everybody
going to talk
talking.
about a white
Hold
You're
person.
on. I
sounding
can't hear
racist
Anthony.
right now.
Yeah, that is very racist what you just said because who gives a fuck? I comment on white folks and they shit all the time. He
Me
just
too.
said his
Who
perspective.
sounds racist? Me or George?
That do sound a little bit because I'm like, what's difference do it make? We worry too much about the messenger and not the message. Nothing.
Yeah.
I've not heard him say anything racist in all my
I
research.
mean, I ain't gonna say I ain't never heard him say anything racist,
Yeah, I'm
What
but
did
not
he
going to
say
that
say
he
that
said the
racist?
either.
Tell
same
me.
thing
Tell me.
Obama said. He said, and
What did
hey,
Obama
if he
say?
say the same thing Obama says, what's the
What did
difference? You
Obama say?
judging the messenger, and
Well, Obama.
and
Yeah.
and
Guess what?
if
Obama is
and
black.
if
Obama
it's
is
Obama is
in black
barely
black.
and
black.
white,
Obama,
Obama is black.
And then Obama's a little bit of a disgrace to me for the way he did during the campaign, coming out
I mean,
chastising black men like we his
but what I'm
boy.
trying to explain to her is
Oh, but you okay with Charlie Kirk doing it?
Charlie Kirk didn't talk to us like Obama did. And Obama didn't do shit for black men while he was in Iran. All he did is shit for the LBGTQ. He didn't do nothing for black folks. I don't give a damn about Obama. White folks elected Obama, not us. It was to make them feel good, and we got shit out of it.
but the key thing is if a woman speaks on a man and she has her statistics from a legitimate source, census or whatever, we should have a problem because it's a woman speaking about what's going on in society with a black male.
Oh, y'all definitely don't do that on this podcast. So that example is definitely garbage. Y'all definitely don't do that. As soon as us women give examples or say anything about a man, y'all turn it right back around on the woman.
I don't
I
do that.
disagree.
The example
Not
I
all
just
of us do
gave,
that.
you turn around and said the only person that disrespect black men is black women.
No,
That's
I
the
didn't say.
first
I
thing that
said
came
no.
out your
That's not what I
mouth.
said. I said they do it more than anybody. I didn't say they're the only ones because we do it to ourselves. But I'm saying right now, as
In
far as
defense of white men, you said that about black women.
I ain't in defense of nobody. I'm defense of right and wrong. I don't give a fuck if you white, black, or whatever. You right, you right. You wrong, you wrong. I'm
And
gonna call it like it
should
is.
nobody care what color someone is if they're giving facts
Yeah, if it's true, it's
or what
true.
race they are, whether it's male, female, transgender. If they're giving facts, it doesn't matter. If you can Google or
If you're white
chat
and you're giving black
GPT,
facts, I'm gonna hit you with some white facts.
Okay, here we're white facts, but I'm just saying, what's the point? If a
okay,
white
I
man,
mean,
okay,
and that's one
let
way
me
you
tell
can
you this.
go at it. But that's just like saying, like I brought up, if the wife telling me She don't like me coming in at 3 in the morning. And she don't like the way I act when I'm doing this, or how I act when I'm drinking. What the hell do that got to do with her? What I'm gonna do? Well, you did something 3 weeks ago, but if I didn't say shit 3 weeks ago, it must didn't matter. Why am I throwing something at her when we're talking about me? So if that black guy was up there debating a white man, and the white man, they was going back and forth, so both were speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't that shouldn't have mattered who the messenger was. They were
Well,
debating.
I
If
think
you in a burning building and a white man tell you it's on fire, you mean tell you ain't gonna leave because it's a white
Now,
man told you
you
it's
know, he
building on
had to
fire?
be black to tell her
Oh,
that.
oh, okay.
Yeah. So if black man have to say, hey, black woman, the person has to be
Ew,
black
y'all
to say,
thought y'all
hey,
ate that? Y'all thought y'all
the
ate that?
building burning.
Y'all thought y'all ate that? Cause that's not
Okay,
the point
now
I've been making at all.
shit. But
We
yeah.
black folks, we too
You know
emotional,
your
too
joke is
defensive.
corny when you're the only one that laugh at it.
But we too in our feelings. We worried about the message.
Nah,
Just to talk.
George was laughing.
No, I ain't laugh that time. Not that time.
What
I
time? When I said what?
don't know. I don't know. It's
George, you
just
you the one who said the joke. George said, "Oh, so a black person tell us." So he the one who said it.
yeah. I mean, if you in a burning building, I really don't
And
care who
and
telling it.
everybody's not on everybody's not on everybody's intelligent level. So certain things may be funny to you that's not funny to me, that's not funny to the panel, that. But
Yeah.
yeah, but George brought the joke up and I just fed on it. So
Yeah.
but
I just can't. Me
Boy.
personally, it
If
back to
the
reminds
the
me.
building
back
It
to
gets
the
remind.
burning
topic.
and a white man says it's on fire, we're gonna all run out the door.
Who said that? George?
But if a white man walks into the building and say, "Hey, do you want to talk about why black men are absent from the home? Because I have facts." I don't give a damn what he got to say.
I want to talk. I want to talk to him. See, that's the difference. I'm a man.
Period.
I want to hear what he got to say.
Period.
So I can
Yeah,
take his
I don't care
information.
who the messenger is. If
Yeah,
they saying
I want to hear
something,
what he got to
I could
say.
learn something from shit anybody. To me,
Yeah, I want to listen.
I'm not so
And then you turn
biased,
around and you
and
give him facts
You
about
can't learn nothing from a
why
black
white
It
men
ain't
woman
should
about
though.
kill.
tit for tat. It ain't
we
Then
about
you
not.
tit
turn
for
around and
tat.
give him
See that?
facts about why white men should be killing their wives, and
And
then he
that's
turn
why.
around and
And
tell
that's
you,
why.
"We ain't talking
And
about
that.
that. We talking about you and your black daddy. We
And
ain't
that.
talking
And
about
that.
that."
And that's why the Democrats and a lot of times with black folks in their emotions because that's not the point. It ain't to go tit for tat. If a white man came up to me and said, "I want to talk about black men and y'all condition," I'm gonna listen. I ain't trying to come back with tit for tat because that means I'm not listening.
But what about the white people? Well, what about the white people?
Yeah, that's
But
just
but
my
the,
kid.
the topic,
It's
if we're
that.
gonna debate, we need to stick to the topic. If they say, uh, if they're talking about white women or white men in business, let's stick to that. Don't say, well, black people got businesses too. But the topic
Yeah.
is white men and how they start businesses.
I give you an example. I give you an example. I got a white friend I've known since I'm 19. He like a brother to me. He took my son in, and he was talking to my son. And he told my son, he said, "Son," he told my son Josh, "you got to work twice as hard to get half of what I get." So was he wrong for telling that? He a white man telling the black boy that? Was he wrong? Was the message lost? Because the message was valid. He was telling him as a white man his perspective on him as a young black boy.
Yeah. In
You
order
got
for
to work
us to
twice as hard to get
elevate
half
and actually for us to elevate and actually prosper and learn something, you have to remove
your
color
emotions.
out of
Yeah,
it,
and your emotions.
in your emotions. But basically color.
Right.
Um, I know people that's pro-black that's now realizing that, like when Malcolm X saw it was blue-eyed Muslims, okay, and he
Mhm.
started loosening up. Um, I think that's why I want people to have an open mind.
Right.
So it's not about who said what.
So
That's like
George,
if
when he
if it's
said
a
that to
20
your
year
son,
old,
and your son was to ask him why, was he gonna give him a legit reason
He
why?
was
What
gonna
would
tell
be?
them the truth. He told him the truth. He said you black. He said you black. He said you got a lot of strikes against you, and it ain't necessarily the white man. He said, "Yo, you gotta watch out for your own people, because white folks not thinking about y'all like that." He told my son real talk.
Your white friend said your black son has stripes against him and it's his own people.
He said a
Your
lot
white
of it
friend
is.
told your son
Hold
that?
on, let me finish.
is it
He
not
said a
true?
lot of it. A lot of it's gonna be your own people. He said, don't fall into that trap of always blaming the white man for stuff. Yes, he said, yes, we do stuff. Yes, there's stuff in place, but be careful of everybody. Don't get comfortable with anybody. He told my son right.
That's real. Because a lot of our people will pull you down. They will.
I had no problem with telling
Um,
my son that. I'm glad he did.
Now, there isn't an issue with a white person, Hispanic person, Asian
to
person.
you, Anthony says she don't want to hear from the white person.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
There isn't an issue with another race coming to say something, but what are you going to bring as a solution? Don't come to me telling me what the issue is when I already can identify the issue. Bring to me some solutions that you may
He
have to
and
present.
he did say a solution.
He sure did. Every time
He
he
said a
speak, he
solution.
offers a solution.
I'm not
See,
I'm not focusing on Charlie Kirk and what he said right now. I am
Uh-huh.
saying in general,
Uh-huh.
if a person of another race, ethnicity, or whatever comes to me telling me about a problem that I already know about, come
Right.
with a solution also.
Okay. Well, on
yeah.
Charlie Kirk, because that's what sparked this. He came with a solution. Now, the next white man that come to you and say
What
something,
was
of course,
Charlie
make
Kirk's
sure he has a
solution?
solution too.
What was his solution?
Charlie
He
Kirk's
said
solution for
that
everything
the
is to
conservatives are trying to put the families together. He said that the Democrats were promoting fatherless homes. He said the
How are the
conservatives they're
conservatives
trying
trying to put
to.
them together?
He said
by
he's
doing what he
trying to
doing,
put them
by engaging in debate, by getting people to think.
but
You can offer some
he's
you
That's
can
how he
offer
was
they're
some.
helping by
promoting it,
engaging in
meaning
debates.
Yes, that's very helpful to a man. To
Oh,
me, that's
okay.
very helpful. I
what
would
she said.
love
What
that.
was her question?
I said by engaging in debates, that's how he was helping getting fathers back into the homes by
No, no, no,
engaging
no,
in
Yes,
no.
debates.
He's
yeah. No,
saying
That's
actually,
the
what
that's
George
him.
conservative.
said.
Listen, Joy,
That's
we
him
over
helping.
talking and she not understanding. Hold on, we have to slow it down. And you over talking. He said that the conservative side, what they're trying to do is promote more fathers in the home compared to more the fatherless homes. And the way they're doing that is instead of giving the single mother funding, making putting things in place where the father could be in the home, not penalizing her for having a man in the home, not
Right,
cutting funds because of a husband or a father or a man is in the home. He said that's what they're wanting to do. Whereas the other side pay women when they're single, you get more. So what if a man's in the house and you get more?
right.
So he said they're trying to promote a mother and
So
father in the home. That's what
Can
educate me on
I
what
tell you another way
educate me
why
on
they're
what
doing?
program that is because I
I tell you,
haven't
I'm
seen
finna tell you right now. I'm finna tell you right now what the program is. Since y'all want no solution, I'm finna tell y'all.
it. Uh-huh.
A few years ago, Candace Owen and Charlie Kirk started an organization called Blexit. I signed up with them. They want me to be one of their community leaders. He started to help the black community. He has black CEOs in charge. Black folks run the company. They do community programs, family awareness. So he actually has done something for black people. Blexit. Look it up. So while people want to paint him as a racist and say all this other bullshit, they're not even doing the research to find out what the man was doing. They just quoting stuff and misquoting stuff. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? So that's I done had an example this morning with a local politician. They love to lie and create the narrative and leave stuff out. But yeah, he to me he's done more for black folks by Blexit, which is a good organization I'm proud to be a part of, than most folks that's sending shit in have. So it's like, come on, you know.
okay, so let's hear about this organization. What do they do now?
Are they all kind of cool? Community empowerment, economic empowerment. They've been around a few years called Blexit, Blexit. I joined, I signed up with them today because I believe in what they
And
stand
so
for. I like
through,
what they doing. They
through
support
these
my morals.
programs, and these community outreaches,
Mhm.
I mean, tell me more about it because maybe I want to join. What are they actually doing in the community to go ahead and do these promotions? Where can I find the success rates?
It's all on their site. It's on their site, Blexit.com. I
Okay,
got to just go there.
so tell me
Everything's
tell me
lined
about
out.
one of the programs that they're doing that's helping promote put these black fathers or keep these black fathers in the home.
Well, one thing they did do, they had an entrepreneurial program to try to encourage black entrepreneurship. And when you do something like that, you're not just helping black men, you helping black women. You having to show them how to set up business, how to do things like that, how to budget. That's real stuff we need. We don't need race baiters telling us how the white man holding us down. We need
So
a hand.
do they also provide funding for those
Yes, they
trying
do.
to open up those black
Yeah.
businesses
Yeah. And when was the
and
last time
help them
NAACP
direct
done
their
anything?
credit in
They
order
haven't.
to? Okay,
So I'm
okay.
just I'm just saying people
We weren't
ask,
talking about the NAACP. We were talking about Brexit. There y'all
well,
go.
people it seemed to be popular when
We were talking
diversion,
about Brexit. We weren't
somebody,
talking about the
yeah.
National Advancement for the Associated Colored People. We were talking about Brexit.
Okay,
So what
look up
is
Lexi.
Brexit doing for the advancement of colored people since the
I just
NAACP is not?
told y'all. I just told you what they do. The Democrats and liberals are supposed to not understand what I'm saying. Well, I told them everything, and it's like the folks I'm running into online. It's like they fucking brain dead. They ask me for evidence solution, I give it to them, and then they get in their feelings. I've been dealing with that for the past 2 months. Do your
Well, a
research.
lot of our people are programmed to hear what they want to hear. We
No,
have
they fucking
selective hearing.
lazy. They lazy. They intellectually lazy. Do your research before you go saying this man is racist. Find me a
I mean,
clip.
I ain't
Do
even talking about
something.
him. I'm just saying, period, as a whole, our
Yeah.
people have selective hearing,
But
and
you
when their
but you see,
mind is set on one thing, it's that's
yeah,
pretty much it. No matter how you paint the picture, if they still see it's purple and yellow, no matter whether you have blue and green, to
right.
them it's still gonna be purple and yellow. To a
Right.
lot of them.
Yeah, Jesus can come back and say, y'all need to sign up for breast. I don't know about that. So I mean, it's just, they and those that don't like black folks and those that really do have it out, they count on it. They count on the fact that we're not gonna do our own research, that we're gonna come into it biased and not able to be stoic and impartial and stuff like that. That's all I'm being.
And and
If Trump, huh?
and it's like if we stick to what what we're talking about, if they
Mm.
say women, black women are more highly educated than black men, why can't we say what should we say? Well, I know a bunch of educated black men. I got a college degree too, and my cousin got one. I got three more people I know that graduated, and they're a doctor. We talking about the success of our black women. They own more
Mhm.
homes. So why can't we just talk about the black women instead of saying, well, a guy say, well, we got education too. We ain't
But
talking
that
about
happens
y'all.
when you have no argument. When you have no argument, you do that. When you have no
But we're not
facts.
talking about y'all. We just talk
Right.
about the statistics of black women being the most paid, the more higher paid now. They own more homes. You know, they're more educated.
But last week, y'all was saying white doctors are more thorough than black doctors.
Nah, that's not what we said at
That's
all.
not what
What
I
we
we
have the
said.
said was
clip.
this.
I have the
What we
clip.
said
I
was
have the
what we said.
clip.
That
But
ain't what was said.
what we
That
said was
was
that
what was said.
I didn't say it. But what I'm saying is there is an impression sometimes in people subconsciously. Sometimes when you see a black doctor or a non-white doctor, it's just conditioning until we get proven otherwise. We all guilty of that.
You need proof that a black doctor is better than a white doctor?
No, I didn't say I need proof. I need proof for any doctor. Any doctor. I'm gonna judge. I'm different.
I mean, you don't
I'm
go
just saying. So I'm
online.
looking at
You
every
don't
doctor
go
still.
online and look at the reviews of the doctors you go see.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes,
No, no,
sometimes these
no. I'm
doctors
talking
been
to
verified with me.
Anthony. And if
Oh,
you
say that
don't, you
again.
need to start.
Say that again.
I say you don't go online and look at the reviews of the doctors you go see.
I don't turn around and say that black doctors are
Well,
less
that's
thorough
not the
than white
question. I say,
doctors.
do you look at the reviews?
Yeah, but that's not the point I was making. Who don't do reviews on doctors?
Okay,
Well, I
But
mean,
I
and
don't
not
go
just
into
doctors, and not just
comparing
doctors.
white
I've
doctors
had
versus black doctors and white pilots versus black pilots and the credibility of black doctors versus white pilots,
it
white
okay.
really
doctors.
his
I'm,
argument
I'm gonna
wasn't
go. I'm
even
gonna go
that,
deeper
but
than
that
that.
wasn't
Hold
his
up, Joe. I'm gonna
argument
go
though.
deeper than that. As a mechanic, as taking my vehicle to a mechanic, I would take mine to a white uh place that has a white shop that has a white facility that has insurance that I know going to take their time, do my vehicle right, and get me out of there, than a brother nickel and diming me and finding more and more wrong to charge me so he can put more in his pocket. I'm just speaking off experience. So a
That's
lot of
the
times
deeper.
our
That's the
people,
deepness.
a lot of times our people don't give us the best service. A lot of times, whether it's whatever business you're trying to get in, whether it's catering or whatever, sometimes a lot of our people that have businesses are not as great as our counterparts.
And you know
And
why
like I
they
say, I
do
may catch a
it?
lot of slack, but I'm going by. And there's a
It's
lot
the
more people
truth.
who think like me than not.
Because a lot of them black businesses are concerned about being a black business instead of being a profitable business.
And so, yeah, baby, if you want it done right, a lot of times, and and I hate to say it, but a lot of times in business, if you want it done right, you might have to go white. A lot of times,
Yeah.
because they're gonna make sure their stuff is 100% legit. A lot of brothers and sisters may cut the corner a little bit, charge a little here, and because they feel like, I don't know, but I just get up and
I don't know
down.
This is
I don't
insane.
know what kind of people you've been dealing with
No,
because
seriously.
I mean I deal with professional people, so I'm not dealing with no shade tree mechanic. I'm not
Right,
dealing with no street pharmacist. So
right,
I'm dealing with people that I can legitimately look up their credentials, go to a credentialing portal, identify their who they are that they say that they are. So
right.
I don't know what people you
And
dealing
that's
with.
from doing your research on them. But sometimes I meet people that say, "Hey, man, just come on, bring it by." Then they legit. I see their little certifications on the wall and all that.
Well, that would
My
be
car
ignorant of
still be
you.
sitting in there. When they could, it's a shit 8-hour job, and I still gotta wait 2 days to get it. The guy didn't come
And
in
that's
today, so
black
we gonna try to
people.
have
And
that
that's
for you
because they're black
tomorrow,
people.
huh?
I
So
just find it I just
I've
find
seen
it a
that,
little
and you may not
preposterous
have
to
dealt with
say.
them, Austin, but I bet you know somebody who have told you don't take it to such and such because I took mine over there, and it took them 2 weeks to do a week job.
We're talking about moral character. We're not talking about because the person is black.
Oh yeah, we talking about moral
There's
character.
there's
Yeah, moral
white
character is just
scammers.
first.
There's white people that's getting over. There's
Yeah.
bad business when it comes to certain white businesses. To
Mm.
say I would rather go white because it's right just sounds a little off to me. I don't know how to
Well,
any other
like I
way to
say,
put
baby,
it.
keep living, and
Yeah,
you'll
that ain't
see
nothing
some
new to me.
things. You're gonna
Yeah, that
see
ain't
some
nothing new to me.
things. And when I say this, I'm not saying everybody, because I have done business with some
Because
great
I was gonna say,
people of
you talk
color.
about going to college a lot. College is a melting pool. You've dealt with other races besides black people, and I'm sure, even though your best friend, you continue to say how white he is, you have dealt with more than blacks and more than black and whites in negative spaces,
I mean, that's
or
common
vice
sense. That's
versa.
everywhere. Everywhere you go, no one's perfect and no business perfect. Nothing is perfect in this world. We live in an imperfect world. So when
And
I'm
in this world, you
speaking,
would
just
rather
like when
support
you
white
speak,
businesses than black because blacks are going to do you bad and whites are going to do you right.
I said a lot of times, yes.
But see, you got to understand something. D is
A
speaking to
lot
his
of times.
experience.
I'm not finna
He's
just chase and give
yeah,
somebody some business just because they color.
right.
I don't.
His
I'm gonna
experience make
see who's the best and who has that insurance, that bonding, that I know if something, when I leave that lot, I'm gonna instantly get my vehicle done right and repaired. I can bring it back up there instead of so it's kind of like insurance. Okay, you have a 30-60 policy, you have a 50,000 per person, 100,000 policy. I want to go to the people that got that million policy, or that 500 policy. So, and a lot of times our people get just enough to run a successful business. And so just keep living and going to different places, and you'll see what I'm saying. But
and that's why I'm glad that Blexit actually does entrepreneurship programs because it'll help us form more solidified businesses where we don't have to cut corners, where we can have knowledge to things to set up our LLCs properly, do proper budgeting. So
I
that's another
mean, they
thing.
they legit. They just a lot of probably just take out the minimum. So I have to ask these questions when I'm going up there. Okay, how much is your liability? Oh, well,
Right.
I got 100,000, 3,000, 100,000, 3,000. I said, all right, I got 100,000.
Yeah,
I'm
but
a,
you
I'm
see
a,
the thing with that, I noticed with a lot of black people in business that we a lot of times for a long time black people didn't have access to the information on how to properly set up businesses, and we're just not doing it. So I think a lot of times, yeah, you got some shady brothers that do that, but I think a lot of it is just once we get the knowledge and sense of entrepreneurship and learn how to set things up and have the proper because you have to set a certain amount of insurance. A lot of us don't know that. It's those little things that we need to get educated on. It's those are important things. Not who races and all that. If we just got to get the information from whoever you get it from, so we can use it and better ourselves. That's what we need to be doing. Fuck our feelings and emotions. We need the information, we need the access, and we need the progress.
right. So yeah, and like I say, I guess I have to say this every time we open up. That don't go for everybody,
Mm-mm.
but even the wife, she's a decorator. She put in her order to get certain things done, from cakes made to draping and all that stuff, through our people trying to help, and they'll bring the tablecloths not ironed, um, the curtains not the same brand, but they the right color but different brand, and all of that matters when you're in the decorating world. So what you have to realize when I speak, I'm speaking from entrepreneurship and trying to do business with our people. And a lot of times we fall short. And I'm not the only one who thinks that. You can Google that. You can go to YouTube. You can go to TikTok. And a lot of times, and just like here in the A, you'll be surprised at the restaurants and things that open up. Go on YouTube. They'll say, I mean, go on TikTok. They'll say the restaurant was cool, but they charged us for parking. They charged us for this. The food wasn't great. So that happens. A lot of times our people don't do 100% to make sure you have a that wow factor. And a lot of times the other ones do. I mean, so and like I said, I'm speaking from an entrepreneur. We the queen and I do the music, she do the decorating. And when we go into different states, different cities, and we're asking around to who we're gonna get to set up the building, or to who she's gonna get her decorating supplies from when we're there, you'll be amazed on what our people come with. And our people charge a lot more too sometimes because they're trying to make that buck. So that happens, but until you are into a entrepreneurship you're where you have to depend on services from other people, and you try to go. Now, we've met some great caterers, what I'm saying, that wasn't that much, but a lot of times the ones that's just starting out would charge over the top, and the food wasn't that great. So then if you go to another company, yeah, they YT owns the company, but they have certified chefs and everything. They pay more. They're not pulling Pookie and
They ain't got
Junebug
tourism working
from
there.
their
Yeah.
family to cook the food and bring it up. They're actually getting people from the schools, culinary school, and all that to come in and actually cater your food. So it's different when you have to depend on services. So that's where I'm speaking from. But like I say, that don't apply to all. But I just had a little bit more success when I go to them, because they more, this is what we got, this is what we do. They give a little bit more a lot of times, but that's not everybody. But you'll see, because I jumped in. I was 5% Nation of Islam, so my main thing was to find a person of color to do everything. But the person of color, they may not have this, or they're missing that. Oh yeah, we're looking into getting into that, so I just rather go where I can get the whole service and just pay. But that's off topic. Okay, so but that's why I say that it's facts. It's from experience. So a lot of times it's not everybody. I'm just talking from personal experience.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
So, yeah.
but
Your personal
now
experience.
the effects of the black, well, yeah, the fatherless homes. Um, George had brought up, the femininity, the guy acting a little, being a little sissy. Um, I'm not gonna say that, but that can happen. More less than often. But like I say, I know a lady who was raising two by herself, and both of the kids gay. Not saying that it had anything to do with her parenting, but I know they mimicked their mother. I saw the little guy twerking to Percolator on the porch when he was about 4 or 5 years old, and he's a full blown tranny today. Not saying, if y'all some say it's a gene, but peep this one out. Let's see
Whenever
if
I
it'll
see a
play.
man and he's angry and he's always crying and he's angry and he's emotional, the first thing I ask that man is, were you raised with a father? And normally they say no, because they were raised by their mother. A woman raising a man, if you're not careful, will create a sissy man. And when I say a sissy man, you might be thinking of a man that's like, I know what. That's not what a sissy man is. A sissy man is one that cannot get control of their emotions, that are emotional, that have to break things, that have to freak out, that have to wild out.
And so, as always, it's not everybody. It's not clear across the board, because majority of everybody we know came from a fatherless home. Now, Austin, you had daddy up the road, and it wasn't 2 days that went by that you didn't go to daddy's house. So even though you didn't have your father in the home, you had males around you that you knew what a man was. Hey, I'm man. Daddy put us to work. I know
I
he
mean,
worked the shit out of me.
I had a stepdad in the home, but
Yeah, but he wasn't good. We talking about somebody. Well, okay, I'll
well,
take that back. You learned he was working. You knew he was going to work, putting the steel toe boots on, hitting that highway every day. So
yeah,
yeah, but you didn't particularly like him. But daddy, uh, he helped mold me too. Fresh out of college, I moved in with him for a year. He taught me about farming. He had me going out in the backyard picking greens and stuff I never, thought I'd know nothing about. He had me chasing the pig that I was scared of, so he could catch them and put rings in the nose. So we were around men, so that, too, even though we knew, what a man's supposed to be, we also had that masculine energy compared to the ones who didn't have nothing at all in the household,
Right.
you know.
Right.
So we wouldn't know. We knew what a man was and what we was gonna do, what we wanted to do. But
Mhm.
yeah, a lot of times they say when women raise boys, they tend to overprotect them,
Yeah, I
which
call it. I call you know what I call it. I call it emotional incest. That's what it is.
you
They
trying to
train
say that
so.
she like that
No, no,
that's her
not like that. No,
boyfriend.
no, 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 no. You misconstruing. I said emotional incest. That's when you put a lot of women put their child, their sons in the husband position. That's emotional incest. I ain't talking about nothing sexual at all.
Well,
But
if the dad was in the home, that wouldn't happen.
exactly. But it's so many reasons why the dad ain't in the home. It could be by choice, it could be divorce, it could be death. We're not focusing on why, but the fact is, man, in the home. And it's the same if you guys when you got single fathers raising daughters or raising kids, something's gonna be lacking without that feminine energy in the home. It goes both ways.
Well, we're
That
only talking about
balance.
fathers right now.
Right, right. But if it's lacking, it's lacking. Or and here's the thing. Here I see a lot like when I come in contact with single mothers, I encourage them, man, especially if they got sons, get them around mentors, get them involved in some. Find some people that can provide that for them. I encourage mentorship. Because if your father's not in the home, then you should have them in mentoring programs. You should have them in boys and girls clubs. It's no excuse for that to be lacking in a child's life.
yeah. Unfortunately, it is very difficult um, for single mothers to juggle the household, juggle raising the child or children, and providing an environment for um, good mental health and assistance from mentors. Because number one, you have to identify who a good mentor is and make sure that those persons are safe for your kids to be around.
Mm-hmm.
And with in today's society, unfortunately, there are so many issues, emotional, mental issues that come with these um, mentors becoming abusers and abusers of trust, right?
Mm-hmm.
So um, it's just impossible, not impossible. It's just very you, you have to put a lot of time in to help identify
Not
who
that
is
much.
assisting with
Not
their
that much. Not that much. It's mentoring programs everywhere where they vet the people. I ran a mentor program with Lancaster ISD. It's not that difficult. It's just folks just lazy. It's programs, it's mentorship programs everywhere online. That folks vetted, background checks. It's just folks don't want to put the time in to do it. That's all it is.
I
I don't
don't
want to
think
hear
people are lazy. I feel like that is always your kind of go-to for things.
mentally lazy.
We're talking about our children and
Right,
putting them in the safest places as possible. Cub
right,
Scouts and boys' homes and things like that have been infiltrated by perverts and pedophiles and people of that nature. Your gym coach, so you thought was so great, taking kids home, taking little boys home, going to jail 20 years later with cases up his ass for touching children. So it is a safety thing also. If I put you in, if I trust you with my child, would my child be okay in your hands?
right.
So
Well, find people.
it's a fear thing. It's not just being lazy.
I'm just saying. I work in a nonprofit field, and I know all these nonprofits are offering programs where people vetted and they begging people to sign up. They got mentor programs. People just don't want to do it. So I'm looking at it from the inside out, and I just see it. I just see the apathy. I just see the no programs and resources are available, and people just don't want to use them. They say, "Nah, I don't need that." Oh, okay.
I mean, or could it be that they have some reservations about people? Period.
Okay, that's on them
Just
then. Then I don't want to hear them complain later. But I'm like, you either gonna do it or you not gonna do it. You either gonna let fear
and
stop everything, or you gonna do some due diligence. I'm sorry, I'm the kind of person I get on my ass and get make stuff happen. And I run into people every day that complain about their situation and do nothing about it. Okay, I'm tired of it. We got enough problems we can fix right now if folks that are committed stick together. If you, my thing is now, if you're not willing to come on board and work toward progress, I'm just gonna leave you behind. Now there are programs out there, there are resources out there. I can show y'all. If y'all follow my Facebook, every day I'm posting something. They having this fundraiser, they having this program, they have it. I'm folks don't sign up for that.
So Austin, that means the mentorship thing is out because the village, as we know, the village stopped raising kids a long time ago.
well, I mean, the mentor thing isn't out, but you have to do your diligence and make sure that you are putting your child with the correct mentor or the right
Right.
mentor.
And if you're not prepared to do that, then you don't have the kid in the first place. If
Or
you're
you
not
don't
gonna
be
do
a
it like
single,
that,
or you don't be a single parent, a
Well, I
single
yeah,
mean,
mom.
or you don't be a single parent. Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, unfortunately, since they took away abortion,
They ain't take away abortion. Folks still get abortions. Come on now.
I'm just saying we're made it a little bit more stringent.
Well, stop getting pregnant.
For this.
Stop. Men keep your pants up. Women keep your legs closed. That's all you got to do. You
Hey,
can't, you can't
Marry
just
before you carry.
yeah,
No
do
sex
that
without
too.
the latex.
We ain't brought that up about folks getting married for they had kids. That's where
well,
it's supposed to be
I've
anyway.
I've actually brought that up several times in over these last few weeks
I'm talking
during
about today, though. Yeah,
conversation.
you usually do. Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what's best anyway. And we gotten away from that. And now we
But
see
yeah,
the message.
marriage is not glorified anymore. It don't benefit the men, as they say.
It don't. Not the way it is now, not the way it's set up, not the way people are set up. No. I mean, marriage can be a beautiful thing, but I think people endeavor into marriage and parenthood without being truly healed or
Marriage
knowing
don't
who they
stop you from being a single parent, you're a testament to that, George.
I never said that. What I'm saying is, I think marriage is best condition for raising a child. I'm not saying to prevent anything, but that's the best condition I feel to bring a child into the world in.
Is in the community, the black community, there is a big problem with fatherlessness. I grew up without a dad, and life was a bit different. For me, it was a bit more, I would say looking back, it's a bit more difficult than if I were to have a father figure in my life. So I want to know, I've been asking a lot of people, what do you think should be done to address fatherlessness in the black community in particular? And like, what are some like good ways or good things we can tackle that?
I guess a great question about fatherlessness. We talk about the system being set. No, it's really not having a daddy at home. Statistical data, no matter what race you're in, if you don't have a father in your household, you're more likely to do all kinds of stuff, and it's not conducive. That's why our young men are not acting like men, respecting themselves, respecting authority, because they don't grow up with that positive male role model in their life a lot of the times. That's bigger than any racism or anything somebody else can project. Any person with a dad that's mature now and they look back and they're a father that didn't have a dad in their life, they always say, if I had my daddy, it would be different. I had my daddy. A lot of the dudes that came from the hood that I came from that didn't make it nowhere, they didn't have a daddy. They didn't have a man at the house telling them, bro, getting whoopings, and my dad told me how to fold clothes and all this other stuff. My daddy was hard on me. I ain't like him at the time, but now I'm a grown man. I'm like, dang, I thank God my daddy was there and he cared. And I had a standard.
Well, so what about the people with two dads in the home?
That's fine too. I don't care. Two parents. I think you need two parents. I'm not even though I'm
because
conservative,
one
I
of
don't
them
have
gonna
a
be
problem with that.
feminine and one of them gonna be a man.
But
You
I
know,
thought
in most cases,
so conservative doesn't
even
equal
in a
traditional.
household with two men, you have one that's feminine and one that's the man.
But he's still not a woman.
But
You can
in
be
most
feminine
cases, he
all
act
day,
like
but you
one
still,
and he
but you,
thinks like
so,
one.
no, you can't think like a woman. Only a woman can think like a woman. The only thing that you
Yeah,
can do is pretend to know
pretend
how a
they're
woman
able
thinks.
to act, and they probably and if they think like their moms, that's just like saying a single mother can't raise a
How
man
can you think like your
100%.
mom? You as a male, you don't have the same makeup as your
They
mom.
don't
So
have the
there's no way
same,
you can
but
think
you
like
know what
your
a
mom.
man is, right? You know what manly duties are,
I
right?
know what an elephant is too, but I can't think like one.
But they eat peanuts though, right?
Hell, they eat peanuts, they eat
They eat
grass.
grass.
But
You
I
know
still
what
don't know
they
what they think.
eat.
I don't know what they think like.
So that means he can raise a baby elephant.
Who that?
James, if you know they they eat peanuts and eat grass, you think like an elephant. You can raise a baby elephant.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, if that's the logic.
Yeah. So
No,
that
let's do it.
means
No,
so a
there's no
single
way.
mother
And
so a
so
single
wait,
mother
wait, wait.
can't raise a child.
So with that being said, so if the
Uh-huh.
single mother thinks like a man, then she can raise a man.
She can't think like a man.
Exactly.
Can't
So
think like
what
But
the
he said
hell?
a man
So
can think like a woman
how
and
can a man think like
raise
a
a
woman?
kid.
huh? What y'all say? I
I
didn't hear
said,
the last question.
so with that said,
Uh-huh.
how can the the feminine acting male think like a female?
I ain't going that deep with it. I know I was a court appointed special advocate for abused and neglected children. I had a placement where I placed a child with two lesbians. I didn't care because that was the best place for that child. I ain't hung up on that. I ain't hung up on all that. Conservative don't mean anti-gay. I'm in the best interest of the child. Now I just
Right.
think it's best to have two parents because it's hard enough. I've been married and raising a kid. It's hard doing with two folks. So I can't imagine it for a single mother or a single father. I've been a single father. I know how hard it is.
Right.
So no, I'm not gonna go over that deep.
Yeah, that's not the topic. We go that's down
No,
the
I'm
rabbit
not
hole.
gonna
We
go
going
deep into
deep.
that.
But on the same note, it has been done. We know several men that was raised by their mom. They
Right.
couldn't teach them how to be a man per se, but they, in a way, they can. Get out there, mow that yard. Get out there. You're gonna go out there. You're gonna do this. You ain't gonna be this. I mean, I don't know because I've never been in that situation. Every
Right.
household I ever been in always had a man and a woman in it.
Right.
So I don't know. But I do know several people that I do know several from friends of mine that we know we went to school with, that the mama was the only one in the household, and they driving trucks, they being a man, they got kids, they living their life, they being a man, you
Yeah.
know. So I
And
don't
you
know.
know, the thing about too about single parenthood, I'm gonna say single parenthood is that it's hard on the parent because they feel like they have to fill both roles. You know, I hate on Father's Day when women say, I'm the mother and the father. No, you ain't. You're not. You the mother. Just as like me saying I'm the mother and the father. I'm not a mother. I'm a father. So it causes a lot of confusion, I think, in terms of women and men feeling like they had to fill both roles. You fill your role, but you find institutions and people to fill in the gaps where you can't. And I know a lot of single mothers that raise amazing young men. I'm not saying it don't happen, but I'm saying I think it's optimal. This is me. I think it's best to bring a child into a two-parent household that's established, this actually thinking about the child and not about their relationship. I think a lot of people, especially in single parenthood, are busy trying to find and foster relationships instead of understanding that your parenthood comes first at that point.
And see, and that's what happens in these instances where there is a single mother or single father, however that goes, that
Mhm.
people don't understand that if you don't already have a strong foundation, bringing a child into a weakened foundation is only going to cause a break in that foundation. Because
And another thing too, Austin, I just thought about as I piggyback on that. Um, I think people who were raised in a mother and a mother and father home are more equipped to attempt to raise a child in a single uh, parent household because they've seen and felt the emotional intelligence of the mother and the discipline of the father. And they're able to kind of somewhat to a degree decipher on how to handle that situation. You know,
I couldn't imagine trying to fill both roles because our daughter gets so much from me and then gets so much from her mother. Right
right.
now
Mhm.
she's 2 and all she wants is her a lot of her mother's attention because of the stage that she's in right now.
Right.
You
Mhm.
know, and but then there are times when something happens where she feels that she needs to be protected, so she calls for her daddy.
Right.
Right.
So, you know,
It's
she's
hard.
already
It's
identified
hard.
those nurture and protection roles in the parents, and she identifies us as a family based
Mhm.
on how the unit is set up.
Right.
Me, her, and her mom, and she's
But
like, "We're family."
on that same note, if something were to happen, you have to be prepared to at least attempt to be that nurturer.
Right.
You
No,
know.
I'm not saying that I can't because I'm quite sure that I can because I show
Mhm.
her nurturing all the time. But
Right.
what I'm stating is there's a balance when there's a two-parent household.
Mhm.
There's a natural balance. Now,
Right.
if I had to become a nurturer, then there's a uh in natural balance,
Mhm.
an unnatural balance.
Right.
So
Because
uh because I can't really take the place of her mom. I can be a surrogate, you know,
yeah,
for that in a sense, but I can't fulfill that role.
you won't. It's not fulfilling the role. It's providing that role. You'll never fulfill it. So when I became a single parent, mine was used to mom and dad too, and we separated it when he was like 6 years old, and he was used to that balance. But when he came to me, I was straight man, this and that and that. But I had to learn when he needed a hug. I had to learn when when to be softer on him, because I was you're a man, punch me in your chest, get up, shake it off. I had to do a lot of adjusting, and you're right, that shit was tough as shit. It took me 2 years to get it halfway down packed, but a little over. But I had to do it because uh, her time, she wasn't spending the time with him on the weekends and the weeks, whatever she was supposed to have, it wasn't happening. So I had to put everything on hold. You go to counseling, I go to all the little meetings, and I'm learning how to be, what is it, daddy mom or whatever. And it was tough. But when you love somebody and you know that their well-being and their mental state is based on you, you'll adjust. But it
Yeah,
took a lot,
I think
and we've been successful. I've been successful.
I think it's easier with male versus male female,
Yeah,
or female male.
right.
Uh,
That
so,
too.
but
But
AJ,
it can be done. Um, because you got that time of the month thing that you have to deal with and how you deal with that. But being that we live in the world of information now, I just feel like, and with their intelligence, it'll get done, but it's tough. It's not something you want. But if push came to shove, you'll make it happen.
yeah, no
It's
doubt it.
not
I mean, no doubt it'll get done. But
yeah. But that
AJ,
balance is definitely needed. That balance is definitely
AJ.
needed.
So
What's up? What's
when
up?
you were raising boys, you didn't have did you have a male in the home, or how how was that with
I didn't
you?
have a male in the home, but God blessed me with men around, positive men around. That's
Hmm.
what God blessed me with.
So do you feel it would have been more difficult in helping them develop into the men that they are today if those male role models were not around?
I feel like if the male role model ain't no good male role model, then what's the point of having him around?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying is, even so what I'm saying is, if there were no male role models around, whether positive or negative, it was just you and your boys, do you feel that you would have done a, just a job? You would have done the job just as well without any male influence.
I don't know. I don't know who's to say. Who's
Yeah.
to say? Possibly. I don't know. I couldn't say.
Yeah.
I couldn't say.
Yeah. I mean, it just really just depends. Like I can sit up here and tell you, if y'all threw a daughter on me right now, I had to raise on my own. It be, if I don't have the right woman around, or a female I can trust, something's gonna be lacking. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. There's gonna be something that she'll need that she can't get from me as a man. I can love her and nurture her, but it's just gonna be something that she's not gonna get from me.
And I think Austin used to say that a lot back in the day when we was talking about a girl being raised by a man and her knowing how to fix on cars and all of that. You used to say that a lot, and that was way before Lil Jax. So,
Yeah, because I mean, I believe that a woman should be able to be self-sufficient and self-sustaining.
Yeah,
And
my uncle taught me all this stuff.
Right. Right.
and I'm teaching the daughter here all that stuff too. She
Right.
learning everything. Whenever I do anything, she do it. If I'm on the yard, if I'm fixing the wall, she right there. So,
Yeah.
and I don't want her to be a boy per se, because I still, instill the feminine side of her, but on the same note, hey, if you just need this done, here it is. Because I know you can't depend on a man. You know what I'm saying? Just like men can't 100% depend on a woman, and you don't want to be 100% dependent on anybody these days, because we live in a selfish society as well.
Mhm.
So yeah, they all need to learn to do what they need to do, but it's a task. But I just feel like it'll get done, because we have so much now that teaches us. You have therapy too that you can go through too. You have counseling. It's just so much that we can, do when you don't have uh, a woman figure, a role model in the
Yeah.
household. All
You
right.
know,
And
really,
I want to,
it's just all about being an intentional parent and
right,
giving that kid guidance and allowing them to grow into whatever person that they're going to be.
right.
You
And,
know, you can direct them and redirect them as much as possible and allow them to have the experiences that they're going to have and be there for them. But I mean, essentially and eventually they're going to make some decisions on their own and they're going to be
Yeah.
their own person.
Especially
and
when they're grown. And like I say,
right.
that I had to learn that. And like I
And
say, I met a guy, I know this guy, you know him too, but him and his parents took care of this kid all his life. He was always at their house. And when that kid became of age, he didn't want to have nothing to do with his dad. I guess listening to all them years of what the mom was saying. And so I questioned him. I say, man, when the last time you talked to, your son? He said, man, I ain't talked to him, man. It's been about 2-3 years. I say, dude, he was over your house every day. He practically lived with you and your mom. He said, man, at the end of the day, he's a person. And I was like, wow. And he said, when they get grown, they a person. So if they don't
yeah,
want to deal
yeah.
with you, they choose not to deal with it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. Ain't nothing you can say. And I never viewed it like that until he broke that down, because I just never thought I'd see it. But when he broke that down to me like that, I was like, damn. So you're right. At the end of the day, they are a person.
Yeah.
And like AJ said, when she first started coming on here, no matter how much discipline, no matter how we raise them, if once that child is grown and they want to do what they want to do, it's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. And
That's
I
just
want to
them.
I want to clarify something for Anthony. You called me out on using the word lazy. You're right. I'm gonna use the word not being intentional. That's closer to what I mean. So I see how that verbiage can be misconstrued. So when I'm not gonna say lazy, I'm gonna say unintentional in how they parent and how they seek information.
Yeah, because when you say certain things, it'll block out your message because your message
Right,
can still be on point. But all I'm hearing is what I stopped at your negativeness, me being lazy
right,
or a person being lazy. When you define it fully to surface like that, not being intentional or things like that, it definitely can bring it full circle for a person, whether they wanted to or not.
right,
I
right.
can't take the scapegoat of you calling me lazy.
Mm. Well, I wouldn't talk. Well, I mean, it depends on the audience. Some people I got to come
Right.
in
No,
like
I
that.
get what
Some
you.
people
I'm
I
just
don't.
saying. I'm
Yeah,
saying for the ones that need that scapegoat, that's
right,
looking for the way out of this argument. Oh, he called me lazy. I'm not lazy. Da, da, da.
right.
It's if I put it full force in a way where you can understand it without being, even if you get offended, because you might get offended no matter what,
Mhm.
but you can't use trigger words to get up out of this topic.
Yeah, and but to me, but here's the thing. To me, with what I've been through, they're not trigger words. It's just reality. So I guess I got to
Right.
make stuff a little sweeter for people because they can't take the real medicine. That's really just what it is. I mean, you know,
This dude.
people got to be coddled.
Hold up, y'all. This dude here. Okay.
The number one social problem in America, by far, is the epidemic not of COVID, but of fatherlessness. 70% of black kids today enter the world without a father in the home married to the mother, up from 25% back in 1965. Now 25% of white kids enter the world today without a father in the home married to the mother. And the stats are clear. Even Barack Obama once cited them. If you're raised without a dad, you're 5 times more likely to be poor and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, and 20 times more likely to end up in jail. What's happened? In the mid-60s, with I think the best of intentions, a Democrat named Lyndon Johnson launched what he called the War on Poverty. And since then, we have incentivized women to marry the government and incentivized men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility.
Yeah, that's what the data indicates. That around about the '60s, when they started a lot of these government programs and stuff, that's when you start to see the degradation of traditional black family, and well, now we in the shape we in now.
Yeah. But we weren't raised
So
like
what's
that.
the solution? So what's the solution?
The solution is like the Brexit organization, get seeking our own information, doing for ourselves. Now that we have the information, now we can implement it. And for us to stop making excuses and waiting on somebody to come and save us. Not saying all of us do that, but too many of us do. And once we get a sense of accountability and empowerment, we'll start to get better. But we got to stay change our mindset. And we're indoctrinated and taught what to think instead of how to think. And if we can change that in our homes, then we'll see ourselves as a diaspora get a lot better.
And who asked that question? That was you, AJ.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
what's
I do feel like people need to start thinking for themselves and making more informed choices on what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, and what it's going to be. I mean, if you identify or see this person, you deal with this person, you see that they have other kids that they're not really,
But
taking
you
care
probably ain't
of.
gonna know if they're taking care of them unless you hear about it in the street.
Well, I mean, that's not true. I mean, if you're in a relationship with it or dealing with them and you're seeing this, then why would you put yourself in a situation to have a child with this person? Um, so just looking at some things and also going back to some of those traditional things like, hey, I'm not going to raise my skirt until I have a ring on it. Not saying that that's going to prevent anything from happening later on down the line, but it gives you a better foundation that you're rooted in something different than a surface relationship.
But the
So,
famous question be, who actually does that? That's our favorite. That's the most famous question on here when you say something, like that. It's like, but who
well,
actually does that?
the ones that ask that question are the ones that don't want to do it. So, but there are some out there that that continue to that I mean they're far and few in between, but
Right.
there are some that hold their body, male and female, in high regard. And there are a lot of males out there. Well, I can't say a lot. There are a few males out there that are saying that, hey, I don't want to have any kids out of wedlock, and I don't want to have a lot of baby mamas, and I don't want to have a lot of bodies, because conquering bodies isn't anything anymore except for bringing in unexpected pregnancies and diseases. And there are some women out there that are saying the same thing, but we have to continue to raise that, instead of glorifying just being a baby daddy or a baby mama or uh, anything of that nature, even bragging about, well, I got 16 kids, I don't take care of, I don't pay child support. That's not cool.
Mm-mm.
I mean,
Unless now he's saying I got 16 kids and I don't pay child support and he's taking care of all of them. That's a positive thing.
But
well,
why you have 16 kids though? You can't take care of 16
Now, I mean, he
kids.
can't brag on 16 kids, but when it said, and I don't pay child support, so if he created 16 kids and he able to provide and take care of those kids, and the baby
Provide
mama's
what
not
though? I mean, he
complaining
might can provide money, but he can't provide emotionally equally for no
for all
16
of them,
kids.
right? Not equally,
Yeah.
but
and
you know,
then and child support is just not in the form of money.
Mm-mm.
Child support is in the form of emotional needs. Child support is in the form of mental needs, and not only just being there for the child, but also assisting the mother that you're no longer with or that you help place in that situation.
right.
You still have some, I mean, some support that goes there also.
Right.
But
Not
he
saying
said he don't pay child support.
no. I'm saying, well,
Yeah, the
let me
word
take it.
pay,
He does.
so if he's
They don't
taking care
provide
of them
child support.
emotionally, he's there for emotional support and everything else. But like
Still,
George say, it's gonna spread kind of thin with 16 kids
yeah.
with that particular scenario. Because that's
So
that's what that's what Nick Cannon going through now. Uh he said it's trying to find the equal time to spend with all of them,
you can't.
to give them what they
Mm-mm.
need. And that's what he said he's struggling with. And
Right.
You
but he
can't
wasn't thinking about that when he was trying to create his little basketball
really.
team.
Nah, he passed the basketball team.
Well,
He
his
got
baseball team.
he
So
got a
now he
15
say,
man football
you
roster.
know, and it's emotionally draining, which leads to mental health,
Yeah, and then
drugs.
especially dealing with you still have to deal with all the mothers, you know. So, and those are some other personalities that you have to bring on, and then if those persons get in relationships, then you have to deal with that. So, there are a lot of things to take under consideration before you start making these moves.
Right. Well, and the thing is too is that we're parents, so we understand that during the ebbs and flows of raising kids, there'll be times when your child they're gonna need you to be close. They may need a lot of time, and if you got that many kids, you can't. It makes it real hard to do, and you run into a situation where you end up damaging the child inadvertently because of your irresponsibility. Because down the road, that child may come back to you and say, "You know what? I didn't get what I needed from you," and you have to think about it. You're gonna have to deal with that in your
and
mind.
and you have people that raise kids in their own home that still come out and say that. My sister says that, and that
Right.
mom wasn't this and mom wasn't that. We didn't see it, but in her eyesight, you know, she wasn't there for her, the way she needed her to
Right.
be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's difficult. Um, Raising kids are not an easy task, especially
Right.
if you have to do it by yourself.
And I tell you
And
this, since we being solutions
it's not.
oriented, I think in situations where you have single parenthood, whether it's mother or father, the goal, if at all possible, should always be, if you're not with the mother, not with the father, successful co-parenting. And there's one of the things talking about folks actually doing the work. I designed
It's
a
tough.
program for fathers about co-parenting. I got a program I'm ready to launch now to teach about co-parenting. So that should be the goal. And like I said, I don't want to demonize single mothers. I don't want to come out like I'm attacking them, but I want to offer options to where if that's the situation, have you got into it, you can try mentorship, you can try co-parenting, you can do things.
Well,
You know.
But I goes back with the co-parenting thing.
Uh-huh.
It goes back to what AJ said early on. This is scenario with the baby daddies.
Relationship
They
that
feel
black men have with their kids, the fucked up part about it is black men love their kids through the mama's eyes. If you love the mama, you're gonna love the kid. If you hate the mama, you might not really want to have a relationship with the kid because you hate the mama. Relationship.
and
That's
as
the dumb.
much as
That's the
I
dumbest
hate to
shit.
see that,
Man,
I
come
see
on.
that so much.
Really? That's sad.
Man,
That's sad.
that's sad. That like I mean, even Anthony said it's cases where if he can't have a baby mama, he don't deal as much with the child.
Mm.
And that happens. That I know
Yeah.
people in that situation today.
Right.
And that that
Mhm.
that contributes to the fatherless homes, but that also goes back to the man being mindful. You see what I'm saying, of
Mhm.
who he chose to procreate with,
True.
make his baby mama. You
And we
know,
focus a lot on black folks, but this happens in the white community too. I deal
right?
with
But
I
we
did in
not
my
white.
yeah,
I ain't
but I'm
messed up.
saying I'm saying this though. In my advocacy work, I deal with white men dealing with the same situation in terms of their baby mamas and their ex-wives. So it's
Hmm.
not something that's totally endemic of the black race. I think it's more of a male female issue nowadays. Now we talking about it because we all black. Of course we should, but we should not negate the fact that it happens
Oh yeah,
over.
they go
Yeah.
through it. They go through it too. But I'm pretty sure if you do the statistics, we
Yeah.
go through it more.
We go through it more. Yeah, and like the video said, I think there was Juan Williams. He said around about the 60s when they really started these entitlement, what turned out to be entitlement programs with Lyndon B. Johnson, signed it. You saw it in Claudine. If you seen Claudine, you remember what happened. They had to put the iron up and all this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's something that I think is a scar that stayed with us generationally. And I think we need to get back to those traditional, old school, simple values. And that doesn't mean anybody can't live their life the way they want to. I'm not talking about restricting nobody, but we need to return to some kind of moral base in this country because we severely lost that. And as black people, we've totally almost lost that.
I mean, but the women are independent now.
Well, the
They
men, well, you know, you got ain't shit women and ain't shit men. You know, it really goes both ways, and that's about accountability. Because me as a man, a woman is not responsible for my reproductive rights. I am. Oh, I can't. If I get a woman pregnant, I can't say, "Well, you let me do it." No, that's not even
no,
being
you
a
can't
man.
say that. But
Yeah,
if you say you don't want it and she do, your word is nothing.
that's true. So don't put yourself in that position.
Right.
That's all you gotta do. It's really that simple. It's really that simple. Just build some discipline.
Just say no.
Just say no.
them, them drug campaign. I just say no to drugs. Just say no. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, but like I say, it's tough out there, and I don't wish single parenthood on nobody, whether it's male or female. I mean, we've done it and we've survived it, but everybody's not. Imagine that person who has to work those 16 hours.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you have a sitter over, or you signed up with some government program where they pay for somebody to come and sit in the home. That's still subtracting time that you need to be spending with that child at that critical age.
Right.
You know, especially young.
Right.
You know,
And
up
plus,
to 5 years old. You know, so it's very important for a man to kind of be in the household. It may not be your baby daddy, but it's good to give that child some type of balance.
mhm.
You know, and like they say, the absence before the age of 5, because it's like when they start developing, you get that child, and that child 5, 6, 7 years old, and you hadn't been in their life, they don't know you.
Mhm.
They don't know you. You miss the teeth cutting. You miss the walking. You miss, you know, it's just so much.
Yeah.
You know, and that child don't know you. So my thing is, I wish the men would just be more mindful once that child, because my motto was, once that child made it here, he's my responsibility.
Right.
Because I always understood anything can happen to the mom, um, you know, anything, but this is my seed, my blood.
Right. Right.
I can't get mad if mama say she ain't rocking no babies. I couldn't get mad if she say I can't bring them over there. And all of this happened, you know,
Mhm.
and I was fine with it, because my main thing was, and I say all the time, even when things happen today, they didn't ask to be here.
Right.
And so you got to put your big boy boots on, and get out there, bro. You know, but not all men think like that. And like
No.
you say, once the government kicked in and started helping them, that made a lot of men say, well, hell, I ain't got to do nothing because the government is taking care of them. That made that mom, the baby mama, not call them as much.
Right.
I need you to do this. I need you. Then you just get that child support check. Then you just get your welfare, and you got them stamps. So that was, you know, that was, like they say, that was an scapegoat to not provide for the child,
Right. Right.
compared to us seeing dad get up and go get another job. Us seeing dad get up and get 2 jobs, you know what I'm saying, to make ends meet. Mom, you know, doing whatever she needed to do, working an extra job, if it wasn't but cleaning somebody's house, to make those ends meet,
Mhm.
compared to, well, I'm just gonna wait on this county check.
Right.
You know, but today it's a county check society. Like we saw the woman bragging about $1,000 food stamps, and she getting child support from each baby daddy. She got 9, 8 kids and one on the way or something.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just the society that we live in.
Right. Right.
And you know, and like now we looking at live all the babies that them Diggs boys got. You know what I'm saying? in the football, and they in the NFL, and they're having all these kids. I think one of them got about 9 kids. The brother. Uh, that NFL money ain't gonna last. You know what I'm saying? Forever. So once his career is over, he's still paying that child support. They not thinking. And the guy that got Cardi pregnant, he got a child that's on the way or something now, and she pregnant too, and it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But
it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible. That's what it is, and it's selfish.
And so I have to agree when they, we've been saying it's both parties, but the women that don't want kids, I think they need to take more, you know, more of an effort not to get pregnant. Like the daughter was talking to me today on the way to school about a girl she know at the school that's pregnant. And say the girl be getting sick, she can't come to school, and she want to be in this and want to be in that, but can't because she's pregnant and can't be in school. So I use that as the time to explain to her that that's what happens when you're irresponsible. You know, it's gonna stunt you. You're not you can be successful, of course. Many have been successful, but just like the girl wanting to be on the cheerleading squad or wanting to be in dance class and she can't. So this semester she'll have to miss out. Then who's to know what her health's gonna be like after the baby? Because having a baby takes a toll on a woman's body. So it's just certain things you have to think about, especially if they're in high school, 16 years old, having a child. So I just think, you gotta look at all of that. And it's not necessarily 100% the woman's fault, but on the same note, if that girl knows she's trying to be a dancer, she wants to be top cheerleader, she should have thought about that before she made that decision to do that. And if that guy wants to be like, now they're trying to see that David dude had a woman killed because she was pregnant by him. And then I know there's several stories where these guys are in either college or seniors in high school, and the girl they're dating get pregnant, and they have them knocked off because they want to go to the play for a college, or they want to go to the NBA.
Yeah, we
So
all remember Ray Caruth. Ray Caruth from a few years ago, the football player that had his girlfriend killed, he went to jail for because he was pregnant. He didn't want to pay child support.
right, yeah, things like that. So it's like you have to think about your future. It's more than getting you a piece of a piece of ass. It got to be more than that. People got to sit there and think. And two, being that internet is taking over, social media, television, videos, movies, film, they need to be pushing that. Like in The Wood, when the guy wanted to sleep with the girl, she made sure he had a condom. He didn't know what the hell he was doing, but she stopped him and made sure he had a condom. We need more shows like that, more movies like that. Just like with the Tyler Perry, I guess it wasn't Meet the Browns. The Pains, whatever the Pains show. They did a thing with the sex, and they did a thing with marijuana. And the guy was trying to make the girl do this, and he was trying to force her into having sex, and she wasn't ready. And we need more of that because it's a social media, television, film environment now. So I just think we need more of that too, because in these single parent homes, the parent is not able to check all the, check everything, dot all the I's and cross all the T's because they're working. They're at the end of the day, they have their lives to live. So whether it was a so-called mistake or not, I just feel like that parent can only do what a parent can do. And that's why social media and people in the streets are raising the children now. And that's why we're getting the results that we're getting. You know what I'm saying? high school dropouts at an all-time high. Uh, teen incarceration is soaring. Teen deaths soaring. So it's the parent is overwhelmed. The single parent is overwhelmed. And that's why every statistic we play say they're more likely to go to jail, they're more likely to commit suicide, coming from a single parent household.
So, with going back to the church culture,
Mm.
do you believe some of that would help?
I
Nope.
mean, I don't think so because so many people against religion now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If people are falling away from religion, then
You supposed to fall away from religion. Religion is man-made. You need to fall close to God. It ain't the same thing. Religion and God ain't the same thing. Religion is
But church for
man-made.
me was community.
Yeah, it's whatever church is for you.
It brought you together, uh,
Right.
George. Now I'm spiritual. I don't jump up every day. I don't do the church thing.
Yeah.
But growing up in the church, because they
Mhm.
made us go to Sunday school, you attended the service, you had to join the choir, you went to BTU, you went to the after service, you went to the little summer thing that they have. Uh, Vacation Bible School, we was deep in the church because of Big Mama. Okay.
Mhm.
So the church did help, as Austin's saying, but we're so far out of it now. But when we were all meeting at church, we were having fun. But now, hell, the preachers screwing the deacon wives, and they holding the little the single women thing, and the deacons and the pastor getting out. So and like I said, they've been doing it, but it's more out
Mhm.
there now.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I don't think church is the answer
No, it's
for
not.
that.
It's not. It's more like I
It
said.
worked
It's
for
more so.
us.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Church. There's a lot of church abuse that went on over the years. I know a lot of people that fall away from church, but I know a lot of people that are cool with their relationship with God, and that what sustains them. They don't go to church, but they pray. They have faith. They try to live the right way. You know what I'm saying? So just because you don't go to church or you're not part of a church family, don't mean you lacking on your faith or spirituality. It just means it's different for you.
But
see, and the,
I
the,
think
the
with
unfortunate,
Austin, if he's raising his daughter now and they're going to church, that's different than having a 10-year-old and a 15 about to be 16-year-old trying to make them go to church now.
Right, right, right,
That's
right.
that's gonna be tough as shit.
Yeah.
But with Lil Jax being 2 years old and they wake up every Sunday, majority of the Sundays, and she's going to Sunday school and sitting there, I think that would help. But I wouldn't torture her to sit through church. When I was bringing up mine as a single parent, we went to children's church, which
Mhm.
was first thing that morning. And so we would get there about 8:30, and we're out of there at 10 o'clock. Once he finished with children, I wasn't gonna force him to sit there and listen to this grown man preaching about Daniel and the lion's den, and he don't know what the hell they talking about. So
Right,
after
right.
he finished children church, we went home. I didn't torture him. Plus, I didn't want to be tortured sitting on that pew. Because as soon as I'm sitting there, I'm dozing, nodding like a mother. So I was like, this ain't this ain't for me. But I let him do the children's church, and they had the pictures. They have the color pictures of Jesus with the little lamb and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
yeah, do children's church. I wouldn't make her sit through the whole service. That's
Right.
children's attention span is so short. So no, I wouldn't. I didn't do that.
yeah,
No.
my thing is not so much of that is making her sit through church, but some of the other things that church brings. But a lot of people don't have any fear of any consequences of doing wrong, right?
Right.
So
Mhm.
they don't fear God anymore. They don't fear that there's a heaven or a hell. You know, they don't fear that if I do wrong, then I'm possibly could end up in hell, whatever
Right.
that looks like.
Right.
So, you know, so it left that moral compass
Mhm.
not pointing in any direction, right?
Right.
Because there was no magnet to guide it to I'm gonna just use north to north, right?
Right.
There's nothing there to ground kids anymore. So now it's just, yes, you can believe in God, but you don't have to believe in any of the things that,
Consequences.
well, the consequences or any other things that was supposed to be promoted in the Bible by God or by Jesus or Buddha or whoever you choose to believe in. And those
Yeah.
things are, and it was supposed to be just the good of doing things, loving thy neighbor, not killing, not stealing, and those type of things. Living by the golden rule,
Right.
So, but that stuff it's not instilled in children anymore. Now it's just do whatever you want to do, believe what you want to believe, and
Right. And I'm not gonna force that on
children.
them, is what a lot of parents like to say. But
And you
what
should.
scared
And you should. You shouldn't force it on them.
what scared me in a movie or whatever I suggest was the Burning Hell. The Burning
Yeah,
Hell, when they used to show that, it would be like a special thing, and they put flyers out, and the parents would make all us go and sit, and we would watch the Burning Hell,
yep.
and that would scare your ass straight. I'm talking about for about 3 good months. I was a saint walking around that house, and Puff the Magic Dragon stopped you from doing a whole lot of lying. But that Burning Hell, if y'all get a chance, Google that if y'all hadn't seen it. I'm sure it should be the full movie, should be on YouTube or something now. But that movie there, because it puts you in all type of situations and it showed you if you do this, you go to hell. You do this, you go to hell. And going to hell wasn't something you wanted to do,
Right.
according to that movie. Have you ever seen it? Any of y'all seen it? The Burning Hell? I
Nah,
think
I've heard
Austin
of it. I
seen it.
hadn't seen it. But you know
I
what though? I
You didn't go
think
see it, Austin, when they used to have it at Aaron White's?
I saw it every time it came out at Dawson Park Gym and all that.
Dude, woo, that movie scare you straight. I don't even want to think about it today. That's just how fucked up it is. I watch it today. I'll be a saint for damn it 2 years now. But but yeah, the church is, religion, putting the church back in there. Like I say, at Jack's age, yeah, along with you all, talking to her. So yeah, I think that'll work. But when they into that, you forcing them to go, we were more accepted when to things with Big Mama now. Even though I didn't like going to church, like talking about, because we went so much. You kind of went whenever you wanted to. They made us go
No,
to church.
no, I went to church all the time because I had to go between two grandmothers.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
yeah.
I just remember Church of Christ, but yeah, you used to be up on that. Oh yeah, because when I moved in with y'all for that 2 weeks, I didn't like going to church. But that's one reason I ran back home. But I didn't care for the church thing because my folks made me go. But yeah, that if we were to implement that into raising the kids now, that may work. Um, but I don't know. I just think we as individuals need to be more, like y'all say, mindful of who we procreating with, and you need to think before you go raw as a man. If a child come, is this somebody I want to deal with? Can I see myself living with her raising a child? If we could
Well,
think
but what?
like that,
Yeah. But you gotta think like that before you lay down with her.
that's what I'm saying. If you can
Yeah.
think like that before you do it, you say, hey, is this a person that I can actually, I wouldn't mind spending the rest of my life with or being with?
Mhm.
Because you're going to be connected to that person once that child is here.
Yeah.
And we understand shit happens, divorce, you break up,
Yeah.
that's understood. But yeah, us as men, being that a woman can't have a child without the fertilization, you know, um, yeah, it's a two-way 50-50 deal once the situation starts. So we both have to be mindful of what we're doing. because we got to find a way to eliminate this fatherless household thing. Because two parents in a whole, especially if it's mother and father, that you can't beat that. What you were saying, Austin?
Yeah, and the way to beat it is, like you were saying, is just being responsible. You have to be responsible. You have to be responsible, and once it gets here, you have to hold yourself accountable because you're not just living for you anymore. You're supposed to be living for that little being that you helped to create.
And so, I'm sure you've heard them talk, Austin. They're not doing that.
And I know they're not, and that's the sad thing.
And there's no way getting to it, even though now statistics says we are more involved in the child's lives. Okay, and that's the 35-year-olds and up, 30 and up. They're more involved, but being involved in your child's life doesn't mean you're supporting them emotionally. It's like involved is what? Showing up to the ball games. And we all know a child growing up in your home is a closer, tighter bond than the one you go see every other week. Yeah. Whether people want to say it or not, I know the love's supposed to be equally amongst whatever child, but tentatively, the ones that grew up in the home with you are the ones you're more closer to, and they're more closer to you.
And I was talking to someone this weekend. We went to my wife's family reunion, our family reunion, and and I was talking to someone, and they had one child, and they were talking about their reasoning for only having one child. And that brought me back to Anthony's point about not having multiple baby daddies, because I had to sit down and think about the division that can be shown between those children and their fathers,
right.
So you don't want, especially if one is an intentional parent and one isn't, and then you're having to deal with the fallout of that and the emotional breakdowns and mental breakdowns because of the differences that are shown or that are seen. And you have to deal with that child crying for their father, or why I can't have this, or why can't I have that, or even question their existence. And unfortunately, these days we have young kids, early as 5 years old, that's committing suicide because they're not emotionally equipped to handle certain situations. So I can identify with what Anthony was talking about as it relates to not having more than one baby father. So
and to piggyback off that, that's why I say when y'all come on here, try to have an open mind, because she opened my mind up to something. When we were talking about body counts and the question somebody asked, I don't know if it was Kurt or somebody, but they brought up, what if she have 4 kids and one baby daddy? Okay. And to me, that's more acceptable.
Of course.
That's more acceptable. Now, at first, my thing was number of kids. But at the end of the day, 3, 4 kids, one baby daddy, that means she's responsible to me. That means, she's careful. She wasn't just loosely and carelessly just messing with everybody, exploring her sexual options. So I can deal with that. Where I think on the podcast, like, hell no, But no, for certain ones, you would make that exception,
right,
to the rule, because it's just one baby daddy. Now, you may not want to be. It depends on how old the child is, and you may not want to deal with him feeling like he got control because he got all these damn kids by and he popping up as my child. Every time you look up, you may not want to deal with that. But as far as her as a person, one baby daddy, 3, 4, multiple kids, that's not the same as 4 baby daddies and 4 kids. So and I'm glad that I grew to see that differently. Because at first I was like, hell to the no, but that is a difference. There's a difference. So yeah, and I like I said, I like keeping an open mind, and that one got me, as I never thought I'd change my thoughts on none of that shit. But one baby daddy, 3, 4 kids, and I'm gonna make sure that I'm able to afford her and those kids. I'm not gonna bring them in a situation, and with them living here, uh, we in poverty. You know what I'm saying? So and that's that. And I wanted to touch on one of them topics too. So we'll look into that. But let me see before we get out of here. This one, I think I played that. Let's see.
78% of Black husbands were in their homes, married to the mother of their children, when they started the social engineering of the welfare state. Fast forward 50 years, 78% of Black children are being raised in single-headed households. This is destruction personified.
The number one social problem in America by
is
and I'm thinking this all
is in the community, the Black community. There is a
okay.
See, that's where fatherless little girls have a deficit at. And this is why fathers are so important, because a father's wise counsel tells his young daughter, that man is full of promises. That's called potential. And potential leaves you with potential.
So you have to educate. You have to educate them. It's more than just picking them up, taking them to McDonald's or taking them shopping.
Right.
You literally have to bond with that child. And if you don't have time to bond with that child, like when I became a single parent, Laffy Taffy, the D4L and them was out. I was down in Atlanta, in studios and stuff with Jeezy and them. Boys in the Hood, that group was coming out, Joey Badass and all them. I was at a music seminar with Mariah Carey, Clive Davis and them, and I was back and forth doing a whole lot of industry stuff and about to actually take off and be a part of something, but then I won him in court. But I didn't think I was going to win, even though, like I say, things that happened to me, I always had a pretty upside. But the whole town was like, it ain't no way you gonna win that baby from her, and da 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 da. And so I kind of got comfortable with it. I was gonna go through the fight because you have people in your corner, yeah, man, prayers and da da. And when I actually won, I was like, wow. So now I'm the one looking for a babysitter because I got to go to Virginia, looking for a babysitter because I got to fly out to Atlanta. And I was in Louisiana at the time. And my babysitter started turning me down, and I couldn't catch those flights to go where I needed to go. Reality set in. And then I was like, do you know what you really signed up for? And I was mad as shit for about, and he was like 6 years old. You know what I'm saying? So I'm laying in my bed every morning. I would go to work. I get him dressed. He go to school. I go to work. I get off before he get off the bus. I'm at the house like maybe 15 minutes before he get off the bus, and his bus pull up, and I get him. That's the schedule we had. Is this what you really wanted? But at the end of the day, he didn't ask to be here. So so when I hear people saying they can't and complaining, I'm like, that complaining should have came before you laid down. You know what I'm saying? Because when I was driving, when she called, my aunt was her appointed person. So when she called and said that she was going to the hospital, I was at a Luke Skywalker, Uncle Luke, uh concert and at a club that I was the DJ at. And I'm looking, it was the Me So Horny, the girls jumping around there, they they doing their thing, and I was with a partner of mine. And she called and I was like, damn, heart started thumping. But as I was driving back to the house, I let her know, hey, child didn't ask to be here. It's going to be 18 plus. This is going to be your life, But I didn't know we would break up and I end up with him myself, because that happened like I say, he was 6, so that was 6 years after he was born. But that I just always remember that scary moment, that feeling of, this, he didn't ask to be here. This is going to be your life. This is what it is, And I was like, you plan for it, you want it, but when it's time to man up, you like, is this really what I wanted? But yeah, so try to keep the family together, but I don't advise a man to stay, or a woman to stay in a relationship because of the kids.
Mm-mm.
That's the worst thing you can
You
do.
could
And
ever do.
Kurt stayed in his relationship for the kids as long as he could. The wife divorced him and left. He wasn't happy either, but he tried to stay in there because he wanted to raise the 2 younger kids. But I got a Muslim friend that was on here, and he pro stay in that relationship because the kid didn't ask to be here. You guys created it, so stay in that relationship. But I have a problem with staying in a place where I'm unhappy. So I understand the balance. But if I have to, like I did, go to counseling, and therapy and things like that, seminars, to put me on track of being a successful single parent, I'll do that. I can't stay with somebody I don't like. And so I get it. And a lot of big mamas did that. A lot of our parents did that, stayed in those relationships for the kids. And soon as the kids graduated, they split up. Have you seen that, George, where they
Yeah.
stay in there?
Oh yeah.
And
And it's
then
the
when the
worst. And
kids,
that's the worst thing you do, because while you in that unhappy relationship, the child is picking up on it every day, and it
Mhm.
can cause issues with their child. Their child may take their guilt upon themselves, like they staying together, staying miserable for me. So and plus your individual happiness. If you miserable, how good of a parent can you be? So it's better to go and separate and try to work on your
yeah.
individual forces and heal yourself than subject, because you putting that child in a bad position. It's not about the child. You staying because you comfortable. It's familiar to you. That's really why people stay when they're unhappy. It's not really for the child, because if they got their eyes open and listen to their child, they see their child see what's going on. Their child feel the tension. So that's just a cop out to me. You
So
know.
you don't think it's for the child, you think it's for stability
No,
and what
it's
they
for them
used to.
because I think a lot. I'm not
Familiarity.
saying in every instance, but I just can't see with the knowledge and information that we have that people can really think that staying together for the child is really gonna benefit them. Not
I
nowadays.
mean, right, not now, but back, I'm gonna say what, in the early 80s.
Yeah, I can see it back
Um,
then.
yeah, the early 80s, with the man working in the mill, the woman had a little side, job working in a little factory or something, and they got a nice house, nice cars, 3 or 4 kids, and they kind of just stayed together. He saw what he wanted to see, like AJ bring up, Anthony bring up all the time. Uh, Granddaddy doing this and that, and grandmama was forced, was kind of staying there because of limited education and
Right,
lack of jobs. um they stayed together so they can give the kids a particular lifestyle.
right,
And we noticed soon as everybody graduate that next year, they were separated. And watching those relationships messed my mental up too.
right.
um I seen the arguments, like George said. I seen the arguments. I seen where they uh
Not speaking where you can feel
not
they don't
speaking,
like each
not
other.
happy, him
Yeah,
mad and leaving to go stay with his mom for a little while, and then him throwing her clothes in the car. You know, I seen all that. And I think that's what got it where I don't want to date, because their argument was he was working and she was at the club.
Right.
And somebody, I guess he didn't know she was at the club. Somebody called him on the job. He came home and all hell broke loose. So I wouldn't date a woman that go to the club. And
Right.
I seen that. So it molds you growing up in you know, in those homes. And that's why, like Austin was saying, if you raise a child that has that balance, when you remove that balance, we don't know what's gonna, you know,
Yeah, you
what's
don't
how
know.
that's gonna affect that child, like you were saying too.
Yeah.
So we want the mom and dad in the household is less likely. And I know we say, well, what's the solution? And I think we all in agreement. Be more mindful of who you laying down with, and ask yourself, to the new people coming up, the teenagers that's coming up, the ones without children. Ask yourself, do I want to be with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Can I live with this person? Can I stomach
Yeah.
this person? Stop just laying down because y'all high and it look the hips and ass look good. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And now when I see, because it's so exploited, when I see women showing their bodies and trying to be seen, that is such a
A turn
turnoff
off.
to
It
me.
is. It
It's it's
really
it's
is.
it's, it's a hellified turnoff. You know, uh, and if I was just to screenshot, or I screen video, screen record, and go through the little stories on my page, all they doing is that. And these are women 40, you know, 35. I'm like, you know,
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this. Then I'm gonna hop on off.
yeah, we
We
finna
all,
shut it down.
yeah, we all got different experiences. We all had different viewpoints. We all have different opinions. We need to respect those opinions, whether we agree with them or not, and work towards solutions toward universal problems. And I think we did good tonight coming up with solutions. We talked about co-parent. We talked about making sure they whole. So I think we did a good service as far as the topic tonight. I'm glad that we didn't devolve into bashing of women, because that was never our intent coming in. I think we held up single motherhood as something that we need to support. Not saying it's optimal, but I think we came up with some good solutions. Now it's on people that you have information. It's time to implement those things so we can see an improvement in our society. So, people get over their feelings and look at things logically and realistically, and actually put some mindfulness into what they do, things will get better.
Yeah. And like I say, that's what I do. That's why I want people not to just be one-sided when you're on here. Have an open mind. And I didn't, I knew the Charlie the Charlie thing was gonna spark some emotions. I knew that, but I didn't know it to go the way it went. So and that's why I came back and said, let's see what Charlie says. I was being sarcastic with it. I knew it was gonna ruffle some feathers, but I didn't think it would get it out of hand like it did, because I just figure we all should know that that's just one person, one man's opinion. And
Right.
whether I'm hearing a Nazi say something, if that Nazi is saying the right things, I'm like, I don't like him, but he's right.
I
I
mean,
don't
the
like
truth is the
her,
truth. Yeah, the
but
truth is the
she's
truth.
right. That Condoleezza Rice chick, she says some off the wall shit sometimes. But when you go back and look at it and fact check her, she's right. You
Right.
know, so, and the Owens chick, what's the one you be talking about,
Candace
Joy?
Owens, Candace Owens, yeah.
She be on, now I used to really hate it. I didn't like her at all. But I made myself pay attention to her, and she's okay. She's not
Yeah.
she's not that bad. But yeah, and I don't agree with everything none of them say.
Yeah.
But if they say something that applies to us, You know, if I'm walking around in a damn hoodie in Presidential Heights and I'm running with my white buddy's laptop in my hand and some white guys think I done stole something. You know what I'm saying? I ain't had no been with that hoodie on over there in the white hood. Just like
Right.
if you go into church, you want to pull your pants up before you go in there if you're being respectful to the people in there and the pastor. You don't want to go in there smelling like weed with your pants hanging off your ass. You want to spray and pull your pants up and tighten your belt when you walk up in there. Even though it's
Yes.
come as you are, become respectful.
Right.
And so that's my take. And as far as the fatherless homes, like I said, I just feel like now it's time to stop.
Right.
It's time to stop. It's time to start thinking because the economy is not getting no better. And if you're not making X amount of dollars now, it's very, it's harder to raise a child now, to provide for a child, not raise, provide. And they used to always say children were expensive, and they really weren't. But the way the thing's going now, stop having them goddamn babies. If you
Yeah.
can't afford to take care of a baby, find a better way a safer way to have sex.
Well, if you know you got issues, and we all a lot of us know we got stuff going on. We need to work through that first. Deal with things like that first. Get yourself right. Get yourself in the best situation before you bring a child into the world.
Yeah. And AJ, you woke? Did AJ done went to sleep on us? And Anthony jumped off on us. So it's just me and you, George, closing it out. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's try to reverse it and be more mindful. No sex without the latex. Marry before you carry. We need to be preaching that to our kids, to our sons and daughters, and make sure the daughters know that having a child is a choice and that she has to live with it. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we can put that fear and actually let them see and know the disadvantages of bringing a child in the world, when you're trying to go to school, when you're trying to start a career, I think if we preach that, that would help them make better decisions, better choices on who they choose to lay down with. Not every man deserves to be in your cookie jar. So on that note, to next week, Speak on It podcast. Once again, shout out to Austin, shout out to Anthony. We got AJ on here sleep, and shout out to George, conservative George, that is. Is more to come. We'll probably jump on a relationship topic next week. But tune in. And it's the Speak on It podcast, 2K25 fall edition. And on that note, we out. And like I always say, it's happening. So we might as well speak on it. And on that note, peace.
What you thinking, man?
I've been in the polyamory lifestyle. I can't even say lifestyle because it's not a lifestyle. It's a way of loving, not a way of living. I've been polyamorous for about 10 years now. Okay. And the mindset for me is mentally, I think I've been polyamorous longer than actually practicing it because I've always felt that this monogamy just doesn't fit for me. Right. I don't understand why I have to only love one person or why I can only show affection for one person. Where is this written? Why do I have to go along with what the societal standard supposedly is?
Right.
And then
the problem comes when you love somebody too much. When you let yourself love somebody too much,
and they don't love you the same.
It's not even matter whether they love you back or not. They can love you back, but it's still unhealthy to love somebody that much. Which I understand that ideology of that. Well, I can't have. I might as well. I've been there. I know that. But at the same time, you have to realize, you know, what your culpability is in a relationship going, however it went. You know, you start thinking about, well, damn, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. So, you know, you can love somebody too much. And then, see, that complicates things for us men because we already have a hard time forming those emotional attachments. You already told don't do that.
The missing link to that goes back to a time before we even thought, you know, why doesn't my father like is that a protection for me?
Right.
Or is that the way he was raised? Or maybe somebody hugged him one day, a man hugged him. I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just saying we got
No, but there are things that could have happened that absolutely that caused him to be the way he is.
Made him feel weird, needed.
Right.
So the things that we think are sometimes a rejection or a lack may have been a protection.
And most of the time they are like absolutely. So if we don't understand that, all we know is a rejection.
But see, like what I understand with my father,
men were going to jail, killing each other, and then now we got bisexual, then we got gays, now we got transgender. So with all of that going on, the purpose of that was removing the black man, the black male from the household. Okay? So with him not being in the household, she's